Hello, everybody, and welcome in. We are back. That's right. We tried last weekend. We had some issues with our servers here in game. We postponed. We are back. And we are here with Pure Racing League. So, welcome in, everybody. This is seriously going to be the best way to end our weekends for the next 3 months. We have an absolute treat for everybody here at home today. We have the best of the best in North America through 3 divisions on the racetrack here to put on a show for everybody at home today. 3 races, 25 laps apiece here at Red Bull Ring. The car is the Group 3 Lexus RCF 2017, and boy, it is going to be a doozy. I have been able to see these drivers practice and get ready for these races, and the pace is incredible. We're going to start with Division 3. We'll have a 10-minute break when that race ends. We'll move into Division 2. When that race ends, we'll have a short break, and we'll bring the North America World Tour drivers to everybody in Division 1 in about 2.5 hours' times. Basically, we're getting free Gran Turismo World Tour live events right here on GT45 Gaming, compliments of Pure Racing League. So welcome in, and I hope we're ready for a doozy. It is going to be Division 3 to start things off here today from Pure Racing League, and we're at Red Bull Ring. On the screen in front of us is the track of choice for round number 1. It's a 2.68 mile racetrack, 4.3 kilometers, has 10 left and right hand turns. It's a tarmac road surface. It is a real world circuit and has an elevation change of 214 feet from its highest point to its lowest point. Red Bull Ring needs no introductions. It is a doozy of a racetrack, and all of us sim racers know it quite well. So there we go. The lobby is up. The races are ready. Qualifying starts in 3 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen. I hope we are ready to go. Now is most certainly the time to go to the restroom, refresh your beverages, fill up the snack bowls, kitties, get your favorite blankies, pillows, stuffies, and settle in, because we're going to see the best racing in North America on your big screens starting in 2 minutes time. It's going to be started off with a 10-minute qualifying run here for Division 3. So to work out to about 4 or 5 flying hot laps here for these drivers. If it's any indication of what it was last weekend, we're going to see low to mid 128 qualifying times. Highly competitive Division 3 field here. Cannot wait to see what we're about to witness here on the racetrack today. I'm the host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. This is family-friendly content. So again, parents out there, kids can definitely sit down and hang out and enjoy the show with everybody as well. No podium interviews for round 1. We're going to go through our system here. We're going to get our timing down, and then we'll work that into our program here as the season progresses. And this series runs every other weekend. And then we have a Masters series, which will be debuting next Sunday here from Pure Racing League. It's a 1-division series, and it is a Nations Cup style setup. So North America World Tour drivers at their best, displaying the absolute best of Gran Turismo 7 and what Polyphony Digital has presented to us here for a sim racing platform. And I would just like to say thanks to Pure Racing League for the opportunity to be here this season to bring these races to everybody's big screens. Absolutely stoked, and I hope everybody else is, because we're in for an absolute treat. It's a good question, Paul. Why do they call it a ring? Already did, says Steve. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hey, hype me up. Let's go. You still can, Skunk. You can jump into the PRL Discord server. You can still register. They'll put you in on the subs list. You'll have to go through the qualifying process, the whole rigmarole, but by all means, hit me up in, after the races here today in my Discord server there, my dude, and I can get you guys set up in the PRL Discord. All right, are we missing? Oh, Nolander is up in the house here. All right, so T-Box was our fastest driver in our first attempt last weekend. It was so close in qualifying last weekend. I suspect that it's not going to be any different here. So it looks like we're getting ready here to get underway. There we go. We need to get you a co-commentator so you can participate in some of these. Nah, you know what? I'm exactly where I belong in this situation. It's an honor to be here to do this for this organization. For me, this is a privilege. This is a highlight of my sim racing career so far. So I'm um, very happy to be in the booth behind the mic here for this series. So the drivers are now heading out here for qualifying, as we can see. So qualifying and the season is officially underway, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in. Hope we're ready for some of the craziest racing I think we'll ever have seen from Gran Turismo 7. All right, so we're just waiting for all our drivers to get out on track here, and then we'll jump on to our top driver. We're trying to find him ahead of time. Here, there we go. So it is Tumbox in out first on track. He did much of the same thing last weekend in our first attempt here at the season. So no matter what happens today, if we have a server issue, or if we have any lobby issues today, there's been some rules and regulations put in place within the Discord server to allow the season to continue as scheduled. Now we can't, of course, obviously delays affect driver schedules, league schedules. Of course, our World Tour drivers have schedules that they need to meet as well. So they do this in between their competing for Gran Turismo as well. So very tight schedules. So we have some new procedures in case we run into a similar situation like last week, and hopefully we don't. Fingers crossed on that. But if we do have procedures now in place so that the season can continue moving fluently, smoothly, and efficiently. Absolutely, and we'll get through that here in a second here as we go through qualifying. We'll definitely talk about the drivers as the season progresses here as well. We have some great information on our Division 1 drivers. I know quite a few of the drivers through Division 2 and 3, so we'll definitely do our best to give out as much information as we can. All right, so we are on a flying lap here, and we come into the Niki Lauda curve, turn number 1 here, and a big slide coming out of the corner here. And the one thing I've noticed in this Lexus in practice with the 1010 sim racing guys is the car is very, very unsettled through turn 1, so you got to be somewhat patient around Red Bull Ring here with this big bulky Lexus. Turn 3 here, hard braking zone. Got to be patient here. Got to be careful on your exit, obviously, as you can see from Toonbox here. And then we head down this little straightaway heading into turn number 4. It's a 90-degree right-hand corner. You can see the driver move all the way to the left side. He's going to absolutely abuse this curbing under braking here, and he's going to try and take a good cut on the apex, straight line that exit out, get on the power early. Nice exit there from Toonbox, and it's going to be a good solid flying lap here so far. Here we're again abusing the curbing and just rotating, looking for late apexes. Red Bull Ring is all about late apexes. You really want to maximize your time around here. You got to have the late apexes. Appreciate you, Chris. Yeah, where is the game audio? Uno momento here, Chris. I don't know why it's no audio there. We'll get that sorted in just a second here. We're going to have to go through qualifying without game audio. I apologize, everybody. I'll have to make the adjustment in between qualifying and race time here. I got to make a huge setting adjustment here, so... All right, so Toonbox here comes through. He's in first. We got Lone Wolf Racing in second. Reyes is in third place. We got Drummer Driver in fourth. SoCal in fifth place. We got Jay in sixth. We got Alpha coming in seventh. Egon goes through in eighth. Chip comes through in ninth. And we got Nolander running through in 10th. He's got a half-second track limit penalty there, and that is going to kill his second lap here as well. All right, so bear with me here for a moment, chat. We're going to try and sort this out right now. All right. I have tested and tested this overlay out. Now all of a sudden it's got an issue here, so I apologize, everybody. Just give me one moment here. And we'll get that corrected. Okay. Sorry, chat. I do apologize. Come on. Why? When in doubt, blame Fred. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. I had this working perfectly before I went live today, and I don't know what happened, but, wow. Alright guys, we're gonna leave it like this for now, until I can't get in between the race, so I can fix the main scene. I apologize, Pure Racing League especially. Like I said, I've had this tested to perfect. I've even had them approve it before we went live. So the fact that all of a sudden it decides not to work when it's time to go live is a little bit frustrating, so I apologize to the viewers especially and the league. So we have T-Box in the lead here still. It's a 28.18. We got Rise Jr. half a second behind with 28.6. We got Drummer Driver here with 28.7. We got Lone Wolf Racing with 28.7. We got SoCal with 29 flat. We got Egon right there with a 29.4. We got Jason with a 29.5. We got Nolander with a 29.6. Alpha is there with a 29.7, and Chip is there with a 31.0. So we're missing some of the drivers here. And there was supposed to be a full lobby here today, but lo and behold. All right, just keep me updated. We'll keep tweaking it, chat. Appreciate you. Keep tweaking here. We'll get it figured out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to fix this overlay after this week here. Something definitely went dramatically wrong. With these new overlay packages, they tend to have bugs and kinks in them for the first 2 or 3 run-throughs. For some reason, it's like a new car. You gotta break it in. So hopefully we can have this sorted out for next weekend, and it's moving efficiently. So in between qualifying and racing conditions, we'll get the big screen fixed up here. Keep the feedback coming, guys and gals. We appreciate it. All right, we're gonna keep rocking and rolling here. Nonetheless, the content continues to go on here. Looks like 6 laps here. These guys are gonna get around the racetrack here as well, even potentially 7 for some of our drivers here in qualifying. So there'll be about a 2-minute break in between qualifying and our grid getting set up. And what that does is it allows the track officials to get the track trucks out, you pick up any debris, make sure the racetrack is in prime racing condition for our racers, and then they'll set that grid up and we will get to racing. So it'll be a 25 lapper here today, and we'll get into some race details shortly. Trial by fire facts. Awesome. Appreciate your help. Alright, we'll transfer this source over into the big screen here in a minute, so I do apologize everybody again, but at least we had the backup screen for the situation. Love being a streamer and having all these fun issues. So no improvement there from Reyes as he finishes up his qualifying run. Drummer is finished up here. We got Lone Wolf Racing. He's finished up here as well, sitting in 4th. We have SoCal finished up in 5th. Jay moves up into 6th place ahead of teammate Egon as he comes across the line here. Nolander's just coming through on his final flying lap here. And a 29.6. He was in the mid-28s last weekend, so a little bit off last weekend's pace here right now, and not going to be an improvement here from Nolander this time around either. And Chip's coming through here, and let's see if he can find a little bit more time here. There we go. It's a 1:30.961 coming from Chip. He's not feeling too great here today, so the fact that he's made it to the grid is absolutely fantastic. All right, we're going to go back to the other screen, and I'm going to fix this right now. All right. Hey, there we go. All right, we have got it sorted out. Fantastic. All right, there we go. Of course, we had to do it, during live action. We had to sort that out, but that's the way it goes. All right, so we'll go back to the screen. We'll hang out. We'll chat for a minute. Throw our track loop back up. All right, so we've got Toombox in pole position. Right beside him is going to be TT's Reyes Jr. in 2nd place. In row 2 is going to be Drummer Driver with Lone Wolf Racing lined up beside him. Row 3 is going to be SoCal. Lined up beside him will be TT's J-Set. To start row number 4 will be TT Egon with teammate TT Lucky Alpha lined up beside him. And in row number 5 will be Nolander to start that row off with in 9th place. And Chip Reese lining up beside him for 10th position. So we're just going to take a couple screenshots here in case we need information for the league. And there we go. Do not forget to pick your tires, drivers. So it is going to be 5 times tire wear, if I'm not mistaken, here in the series. 6 times tire wear, and 2 times fuel consumption. And the tire mandate is all 3 tires are required to be used here by our drivers. So our racing hards, our racing mediums, and our racing soft tires. However, the tire mandate states that the tires only need to be on the track surface. So essentially, you could start the race on the hard tire, pit at the end of lap 1. You can change to a medium tire and pit at the end of that out lap and take the soft tire if that's what you choose to do for your pit strategy, and that will be A-OK. So with 6 times tire and 2 times fuel, we should not see fuel being too much of an issue here in today's race. However, 6 times tire wear could definitely factor into the racer's strategy here today. What these drivers are going to do, entirely up to each driver in the field. I suspect we're going to see some very short, hard, and medium tire stints, and we're going to see some very long soft tire racing stints. That's if I had to guess. So we are just getting race control, verifying that the track is up to racing standards, and we're going to get these guys and gals lined up on our grid here. Appreciate everybody coming in and smashing those reactions on the stream as well. Please do us a favor, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get Pure Racing League out there. Let's get them known, and let's get these guys growing. Let's hit those likes. Let's hit those share buttons. It's free to do, and it's a 2-second task that helps us all grow as a league and as pages. And if you want to continue to see this high-flying action from Pure Racing League and you're not a member of the GT45 pages, hit that follow or subscribe button. Turn on all those live notifications and you'll never miss another action-packed moment from Pure Racing League. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the grid is lined up. Race control looks very satisfied with the way things are sitting. Let's go to racing. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for the first time this season from Pure Racing League, our Season 2 Group 3 Championship Lexus One Make starts now. Kick them tires, light them fires. We're going racing and we're green, and we are underway. We got one driver stuck on the grid here in the backfield there, and I'm not sure if that is going to create a red flag situation or not. We'll have to wait and see what race control does here, but it is Toonbox off and moving here in the lead as Raya's in second place. Here we got SoCal jumping up a couple quick positions off race start. He moves up into third place. JSet jumps up a couple into fourth. Lone Wolf Racing, though, again, to take a look here as we're going to go side by side heading into turn number 3, and we're 3 deep there heading in as everybody's sorting themselves out. A little bit of contact there under braking and a little bit of bumping here on these cold racing tires, and oh boy, we got a little bit of chaos happening here off in the back end. Damage is on light here in the series. And it was Chip that got stuck on the grid there. He's going now, so not sure what happened there, but a late start from our 10th place driver, Chip Reese here, and we are underway. So 25 laps around Red Bull Ring here today. Should be about a 55-minute to 1 hour race, depending on the pace of the drivers. So Rise Jr. here in second place. He's now got SoCal closing in here on that rear fin, and we got side-by-side action here in 4th and 5th place between Lone Wolf Racing and TT's J-Set. Now, Lone Wolf Racing is our defending Division 3 champion from Season 1 with our McLaren 650 series here last season, so he is coming in looking to try and repeat back-to-back titles here. So Lone Wolf Racing is kind of the guy that everybody is looking to beat here in this division this season, as he is, again, that defending champion, and he's going to be the first of the drivers to make that early pit stop here. So SoCal here in 4th place, going to jump into pit lane. That's going to give drummer driver 4th place here. Lone Wolf Racing, Nolander, Alpha, Egon, all jumping into pit lane here. So strategies are already at play. All right, so T-Box is in the lead. He is our pole sitter. He was the fastest in qualifying and fastest by about a half a second, so a little bit more pace than the rest of the field in qualifying, but qualifying and racing conditions are two completely different things. We've got Rise Jr. here in second place. We've got Jay here in third. We've got Drummer in fourth. We've got SoCal in fifth. We got Lone Wolf here in sixth. Nolander in seventh. We got Alpha in eighth, and we got Egon here in ninth, and we've got one driver behind pit wall here. Of course, that driver again not feeling too well here today, so might have just brought the car in and said, you know what, we're going to try again next week. So really unfortunate. They're down to 9 and missing some of our drivers in the field here today too that didn't make their cars out of the paddock. So short field here today to start the season off, but good gains for the drivers on track. All right, so it's Toonbox here, and he is moving and grooving. I mean, he is in control already, setting the pace of this race, and he is not messing around. 4 seconds right now is that gap over TT's Arias Jr. here in second position. He's got 1.8 seconds over teammate J-Set in third place. Drummer driver chasing here in fourth place. Do never count this guy out. He is quick. SoCal here in fifth place, and a cool, calm, collected driver here too as well, this driver, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's putting pressure on you. So every one of the drivers in this division is a top quality driver, and this is anybody's game this season. This is going to be a pretty crazy season. I think we're going to see lots of different podium finishers throughout the season, and Lone Wolf Racing has a big task at repeating that championship here, I think, in Division 3. We got Team Rad's Nolander here up into 7th position here. We've got Lucky Alpha in 8th and Egon here in 9th. Now remember, half the field has already made their first pit stop here today, so 2 more pit stops happening for some drivers and probably only 1. We're going to see a 2-stop heavy race here for sure. I don't suspect we're going to see too many 3-stop races here today based off of the information from our driving community here. As a commentator, I always try to do my best to get as much information as I can from the driving community post-round so we can have a little bit of insight to what to expect throughout our races here from week to week. But Toonbox is just on a different level right now. He has started off on this medium racing tire. He's got a good strategy in mind here, and he's just not messing around. The bigger question is, how long is he going to stay on that medium tire for? We got Reyes and J-Set here, second and third place, and are only separated by about 3 car lengths right now here as they come around. And I do do suspect that we're going to see some pit stops happening here from some of the drivers fairly soon. Again, depends on their strategies. Drummer Driver is 2.2 seconds in behind that podium group here right now. SoCal is 15 seconds behind, and he did make a pit stop, remember, so that pit stop is what that time difference is. Lone Wolf Racing here in 6th place. We got Nolander in 7th. We got Alpha at 8th. We got Egon here in 9th position. Alright, so Toonbox here, I don't know a whole lot about this driver per se on a personal level, but he is very clearly quick. He's leading this race from pole position. He got the whole shot off of the race start, and now he's got that 6.6 second gap here on the field right now. Papa's always proud, Chris, you know it, my man. Don't forget about Mama Bear, though. Mama Bear, too. Jay said here up into 2nd place has made his way around teammate Reyes Jr. here. Now, Reyes Jr., this is his first ever competitive league race here, so fairly new to sim racing here as this driver. He's just most recently grabbed his A+ in daily races, and he's going to try his luck here in some organized racing right now. So this is his first ever experience under competition in an organized manner. So it'll be interesting to see how he does here as well. And he's in a fight for his life right now for 3rd place with a Drummer Driver in behind here. Drummer Driver is an experienced sim racer. He's got plenty of sim league racing experience under his belt. He knows how to handle situations, and well, he doesn't need to worry about handling that situation as the Jay and Reyes both go into pit lane here to make a pit stop. So Drummer Driver gets 2 free spots there with those pit stops, moving himself up into 2nd position. SoCal's coming around, should be able to grab the spots from J-Set and Reyes Jr. here as well as he comes around turn number 10 here to head towards start finish line, and the start lap number 5 of 25 here. So we have only started to begin to see the pace of this lobby. Lone Wolf Racing is going to come around. That's going to put him up into 4th place. However, Jay and Reyes are on their way out of pit lane there, but Lone Wolf is just going to come out up ahead of them there as he is, again, up the racing pace here at the moment. Jay and Reyes coming out of pit lane here in front of each other. Nolander is going to come out right in behind him here. Alpha and Egon coming around the Niki Lauda curve here in 8th and 9th place, now right up to the backside of that pack. So as the pit stop sequences start to work themselves out through this race, we will see these guys start to tighten back up, and that's when the racing starts. Right now, it's just these drivers getting into their race strategies, getting onto those soft racing tires. When we see these drivers get onto those soft racing tires, that's when we're going to see the action really pick up here. But right now, everybody's got their work cut out for him to catch Toonbox here. He is 10 seconds up the road, and he's just chilling right now. He seems to be in a good place. He's focused, and he has definitely got his best foot forward right now in that racing car. Drummer Driver here, our number 16 driver, coming from VPR, Victory Pace Racing Team, looking good here and solid in 2nd place, and again, a quick driver, so you never want to count this driver out of any race. He can very quickly be in the equation before you know it, much like SoCal. Very cool, calm, collected drivers. They stick to their strategies, they stick to their racing plans, and next thing you know, they seem to always be there in the fight somewhere near the end of the race. So currently SoCal sitting in 3rd place. He's got 2.8 seconds over defending champion Lone Wolf Racing here right now in 4th position. Reyes here is up into 5th place here, and he's got Nolander in tow in 6th place, about 1 second in behind. Alpha is about 5 seconds in behind them, with Egon still right there, just a second in behind, and Jay now coming into pit lane to make his 2nd stop of the race. So our first driver to make his 2nd pit stop here is TT's J-Set. Interesting strategies being played out here from our drivers today. So T-Box, he's going for what looks to be a fairly good stint here on these racing medium tires. We're going to be on 6 laps here as he comes around. So the question is, are we going to see a pit stop coming from this driver soon? He's going to go again. All right, we got Drummer Driver here in 2nd place, and we're going to see this here for a little bit. Now, this is the middle part of the race, essentially, and the drivers are really focused in working in their pit strategies right now, trying to make up the best lap times they can, lap in and lap out, try not to make those mistakes, and really try to utilize their softer compounded tires they have underneath their racing cars right now. So it's not so much about battling as it is trying to gain that time on the car up ahead of you. And then, like I said, when all these drivers get on these soft racing tires at the end of this race, that's kind of when the racing begins here today. You had no input from your wheel. Sorry to hear, my dude. We'll be here for a while, Kilt. We got Division 3, 2, and 1 all back to back to back here today. So 3 absolutely high-flying races for everyone here today. All right. So Toonbox here, we'll have to get some information from this driver. We'll have to reach out to this driver, and we'll get a little write-up from this driver so we can talk a little bit more about this driver. We know most of the drivers here in the community to some extent or another, but this one's fairly unknown to myself. But he's quick, and he's got 10.6 second gap right now over Drummer Driver. Got lots of, I know a fair bit about this driver. We've seen him in plenty of different leagues throughout the sim racing community. He's an active league racer and competitor here, and seat time is always so important as a racer. It's what continues to make us better, cleaner, more efficient, faster, smarter, making better racing decisions, all those things. SoCal here is same thing, very efficient driver here, very, very quick. And I mean, typically these are, you know, like pro tier drivers in most leagues, and essentially sitting in a pro-am tier here in pure racing league. So that just goes to tell you the depth of the competitive driving pool here this season in this Group 3 Lexus Championship. We got Lone Wolf Racing here. He's moving, he's grooving. Again, defending champion from last season, and he's definitely going to be wanting to try and repeat that, but he is in some tough company this season. You might be feeling a little tipsy by the end of the night, my guy. We got Reyes Jr. here, just put down his personal best lap of the race here so far in 5th place. We got Nolander chasing in 6th, and the gap is starting to open up here between Reyes and Nolander's 2.7 seconds here now. Lucky Alpha here in 7th position. He's still got 5 seconds to Nolander, so hasn't been able to gain, but also hasn't lost any time. Egon's still right there tucked in behind, 1.3 seconds, and Jay is 11 seconds back in the back of the pack and 52 seconds off the leader of the race here right now. But keeping in mind, this driver has cleared his hardened tire and medium tires already. He is now on the soft tire run here. Let's do an on board here with our race leader here as we head around into turns 9 and 10 here, and we'll do a little bit of an on board lap around Red Bull Ring. So this is our back straight here, and this leads us up to our start finish line, which he's about to cross right here. So this is start finish line here, and it's a long run up into turn number 1. It's also known as the Nicky Alati curve, and again, it's a difficult corner. There's a little bump right there. You can see how it unsettles the Lexus race car. From here we take a good long run up towards turn number 3, turn number 2 and 3. Turn number 2 is this turn right here. We call this the kink, and then that leads us into Remus turn number 3. This is the hardest braking zone here on the racetrack, and it's an uphill braking zone too, so you can actually brake a little bit later than you would think here because you are moving uphill. Gets a great exit out of there. Now we're on another little short straightaway here, and that's going to take us into Schlossgold, and that's this right hand, I would say 100-degree corner, a little more than 90 this one is. And again, this is a patient corner. You got to kind of let the car rotate before you get back on the loud pedal. If you get on the loud pedal a little too early, you could throw the rear end of your car around. From there, that takes us into Roush and the Worth curve. Turns number 6 and 7 here, and this is a fun little sector. It's all about throttle momentum here, hitting those late apexes and not losing curb speed. If you can do that, you're going to have a great exit leading into Ryan to turn number 10, and then of course Red Bull Mobile, turn number 9 Ryan, and then Red Bull Mobile turn number 10 here. So this is that Ryan right here, turn number 9, and of course pit entry right there, which we're actually going to see the race leader jump into here. So there we go. Toonbox is going to come in on a lap number 9 to get off those racing medium tires. So I guess the question is, does he jump onto the softs or does he jump onto a racing hard tire now at this point in the race? And you're in the next race. Ooh, yeah, definitely. All right, so it is driver in the lead of this thing here now, as T-Box has, of course, come into pit lane. And what tires has he opted to come out on? He has opted to jump on that racing hard tire. So I suspect we'll only see him on that tire for 1 or 2 laps, and then we'll see him back into pit lane here. So SoCal now comes out in 3rd place, 2 seconds in behind Toonbox here, and has some speed, so he's going to close that gap just a little bit more yet. Lone Wolf Racing 3 seconds in behind SoCal in 4th place. So that puts Nolander now up into 5th place, and he's got 10.9 9 seconds to Lone Wolf Racing up ahead of him there in 4th place. We got Lucky Alpha here in 6th. He's got Reyes right in behind him here in 7th. We got Jay 10 seconds in behind them there in 8th place. And we got Egon, who's now made his final pit stop here as well, in 9th position, 10 seconds in behind. So Drummer Driver is now leading the charge here and on a soft tire stint here at the moment. So interesting. I think he was the only driver actually to start on that soft tire. We're going to have to see how that works out for him here. The soft tire is quite quick around Red Bull Ring here this weekend. The medium tire seems to be a neutral tire, for lack of a better way to explain it. The medium tire doesn't seem to have a whole lot of crazy pace around the track. I noticed, I was finding that the hard tire pace is almost equal for some reason. So the soft tires are definitely the tires that feel best around Red Bull Ring here, and I would imagine we're going to see these drivers really lean on those soft tires here in the race. The question is, again, with that 6 times tire wear, so every time the drivers take a full lap around Red Bull Ring here, they're using 6 laps worth of tires. So 25 laps, that's 150 laps worth of tire wear essentially on these racing cars throughout this 1 hour event here in Division 3 today. How's it going, Brad? Hope you're doing fantastic. So SoCal here, he's got 12 seconds to Drummer up in the lead here right now. Again, driver's still owing pit stops, so this will all shift and change here as the race continues on. Got Lone Wolf Racing here in 3rd place. Nolander is now rocking and rolling here in 4th. He's got Lucky Alpha in behind in 5th. We got Reyes in 6th position. We got Toonbox here in 7th, and he's already gotten rid of that racing hard tire, and he's got 8 seconds on TT's J set. So these are the first 2 drivers to come off of their hard and medium tire compounds and onto their soft tire compounds. So our eyes are definitely going to be on Toonbox and J set here as this race progresses through the middle part, because right now they seem to be in the better strategy position, but yet to be determined as the race is not finished, of course. So we got Drummer Driver here on, again, the soft tires, and you can see the front tires are wearing a little more heavily than our rear tires here around the racetrack as well, and that's not too surprising, as there's lots of braking areas here on the racetrack. It's a mid-speed racetrack as well, which means that there's been some BOP changes recently within the last update of Gran Turismo 7, which has actually affected the Lexus as well. I think it gave it a small little buff, and that means it essentially has just a little bit more horsepower on the mid-speed tracks. So a little bit of adjusting that the drivers have had to make as well from last weekend to this weekend since the update. SoCal here in 2nd place, and again 12.4 seconds in holding, so the pace of the lobby is actually quite close, as drivers are having a hard time really kind of closing in on each other, and that's exactly what that tells us, is that the pace of the lobby is very close. It's very hard for these drivers to make up large amounts of time. They're relying on little mistakes and little miscues from each other to close up those gaps in a sense, because the pace of the lobby is so close together. So we got Nolander coming around in 4th place here. He's got a half-second track limit penalty, and he's got 4.6 seconds on Arias Jr. chasing him behind here in 5th place. A half-second penalty is going to relate to about 0.8 of a second at the penalty serving zone here at Red Bull Ring. So Gran Turismo 7 has a great feature here, which is really great for organized league racing like this. It's called an electronic enforcement penalty serving zone, and what it is a setting in the lobbies, and there's a designated area on every racetrack layout within Gran Turismo 7 where there's a very specific designated penalty serving zone. So if the drivers pick up a track limit penalty or a pit line infraction penalty or a wall contact penalty or car contact penalty, whatever settings are being used from one lobby to the next, it will force the drivers to serve that penalty right through the spot we just seen them come through there. Those 2 yellow boxes with the arrows in it, that is our electronic enforcement penalty serving zone here at Red Bull Ring, and that is not the greatest spot to have to serve a penalty, as you're on a high-speed run charge, so to speak, right there. And we got a battle for 5th place between Toonbox and Reyes Jr. here. We're going to be going side by side into the Nicky Lauda curve. This is a battle for 5th place, and Toonbox does have the inside line here coming into Nicky Lauda, and Reyes just backs off and doesn't really fight for the position there. He just lets him have it, doesn't want to cost himself any unnecessary time. He's going to tuck right back in behind Toonbox there and continue on up the racetrack. So Reyes here in 6th place. We got Jay in 7th position here, and 8 seconds in behind Rise. We got Egon right there in 8th, about 12 seconds in behind, and Alpha making his final pit stop here now in 9th position. So it is still Drummer Driver here leading the charge, and he's got 11.3 seconds over SoCal here right now on the racetrack, but he is still going to owe 2 pit stops, which means that is all going to change. We got SoCal here in 2nd position. He's made 1 of his 2 pit stops already here in the race. He still owes 1 pit stop here on the racetrack. We got Lone Wolf Racing now sitting in 3rd place here on the racetrack, and he also owes 1 pit stop here still today, and I believe it's on the medium racing tire, if my memory serves me correctly, that is. So some of these drivers still owe a stop. We got Nolander here. He's also going to owe a stop here, I believe, as well. Toonbox is done. He doesn't need to stop if he chooses. He doesn't want to anymore. His tires are cleared. He is good to go the rest of the way if he chooses to do so. Rise Jr. still has a pit stop, I believe, that he needs to make here as well. We have Jay said here. He has cleared his tire mandates. He's in the same position as Toonbox, up a couple spots ahead there, about 8-9 seconds up the road, and has cleared his tire mandate. So if he chooses to, he could go the rest of the way here without having to make another stop. We've got Egon here who's cleared all his tire mandates. Alpha has also cleared all his tire mandates so far. So half of our field has cleared the tire mandate out of the race, and now the focus is on trying to, well, win the race, really, ideally. So here we go. We got our race leader here has a penalty here, and we're going to see this in penalty enforcement serving zone in action here. So what it does is it just cuts the power to the engine of the drivers for the extended amount of time, whether it's a half second, 1 second, 1.5, 3, whatever the case may be, and the driver has 0 power input to the engine for that whole duration of time. The moment that timer runs out, the power is restored to the engine. The driver can slam on the loud pedal and continue on with their race. So driver definitely needs to be aware what gear they're in when they're serving those penalties, and make sure that they're, of course, using their gear shifter accordingly to try and maintain maximum amount of speed once power is restored to their engines. So now SoCal is going to take over the lead of the race. Lone Wolf Racing is going to put him up into 2nd position here. And again, some of these drivers still owing pit stops here. So Drummer Driver is going to come out here. He's cleared that stop. Now he's on that racing medium tire. Nolander's coming around here. He's in 4th place, and Drummer Driver is going to come out ahead of him here, but it looks like by about 5.5, 6 seconds as we come around Nicky Lauder curve here. Oh, he got a great run through there. 4.5 seconds is that gap, and now we got Rise Jr. in pit lane making his final pit stop of the race here as well. So the pit stop sequences are starting to filter through here, and we should have a better idea of who is in a good position to potentially win this race within the next, I would say, 5 to 7 minutes here. We're probably going to see these drivers make their final sets of stops. All right, so Flying Fox Racing is leading the way here. Lone Wolf Racing is not too far in behind here as well in 2nd place. I mean, that gap is 1.4 seconds in closing. So Lone Wolf Racing is definitely starting to make some distance up here on our current race leader, SoCal. Drummer Driver comes out of his pit stop there in 3rd place, so I had a decent sized gap there, and he's got 5 seconds on Nolander here, still chasing in 4th place, but Nolander has a rear view mirror full of Toonbox here, who again just gets a nice easy pass around the car. Here's that Nolander coming into pit lane to make his final stop of the race here, and Toonbox is going to head up the racetrack to start lap number 16 here in 4th place. Drummer Driver is now the target in front. TT's J set here up into 6th place. Should be able to grab that position on Nolander here, as Nolander's still in pit lane. We'll stick with this here as Jay comes around the Nicky Lauder curve, and yes, he is going to grab P5 as Nolander is in pit lane. They just dropped that car off the jacks here, and he is out. So Egon is going to come out, just looks like in behind Nolander as he comes around turn number 1 here, and that gap should be down to about 2 seconds as Egon continues at race pace, and Nolander needs to still get up to race pace speed. Got that lucky Alpha here. He's 2.9 seconds in behind, and Rise Jr. here now in 9th place. And of course, only a couple drivers now left owing a stop here. 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place at this point are the only 3 drivers left have to make a pit stop here. So that is definitely going to factor into how the last 3 or 4 laps of this race plays out, I think. But we'll let them show us how it's all going to work out. So Lone Wolf Racing, 1.3 seconds is that gap over in behind SoCal. That was the gap last time around, so nothing has changed that time around. So the drivers are equally paced here that last time around the racetrack, and it's a 129.9. So the fastest lap on the track right now, currently owned by Toonbox, it's a 128.742, and it's about 5.5, 6/10 of a second off his qualifying time here today in qualifying. So race pace almost at the qualifying pace of that driver as well here on the track, and that is just a strong driver right there that can run race pace at qualifying pace. That is spectacular. Scott, you legend, how are you doing, my man? I hope you and the fam jam are absolutely fantastic. It has been a while, my guy. Got Toonbox here. He's 4.3 seconds in behind Drummer and closing. I mean, he's not messing around. He is in seek and destroy mode here right now. TT's J said he's got 11 seconds in behind Toonbox and 27 seconds in behind the leader here right now. But again, doesn't need to make another pit stop. Nolander here in 6th place. He's got Egon chasing him down here in 7th. That gap is 2.3 seconds, and it's the same gap between Egon and Alpha. Egon had a big wiggle on the exit there, and Alpha is going to be able to gain some time on him right there. And Arias Jr. here in 9th place and 7.7 seconds down the road from Alpha. So the late pit strategies versus the early pit strategies is kind of the big question mark here for this weekend's round. Which one is going to be the best strategy? We're going to see this strategy played out through 3 divisions here today, and we're going to see it played out differently, I bet, through the 3 divisions here today as well. We've seen a mixture of early strategies for pit stops and late strategies for pit stops, so it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out at the end of this race. Division 2, I think we're going to see a very cookie cutter style pit strategy from the majority of the driving field. I feel like they're all going to be on a very similar style strategy just due to the pace of the lobby. In Div 1, I can't even begin to speculate what those drivers are going to do over there. We're going to see lap times and racing around Red Bull Ring in Division 1 like we've probably never seen before. So this is just a teaser. This is just the opening here this weekend for everybody. This is just getting us in to the faster and faster fields of drivers. So yeah, I mean, 3 straight high-flying action races on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, next to being at a real-life racetrack, watching a real-life race on a Sunday afternoon, I don't think it gets a whole lot better. Just my opinion, though. All right, so Lone Wolf is nipping. I mean, he's just slowly but surely dipping away at that gap between him and SoCal up in front. It's down to, just down to over a second there, but he's got his 1.3, 1.2, 1, a little give, little take. So SoCal is clearly better in that final sector through turns 9 and 10 than Lone Wolf is, but it seems like Lone Wolf is just a little tiny bit better through the first part of the racetrack. So it's interesting to see how that balances out between the 2 drivers. But again, both drivers are still owing a pit stop here, and our 3rd place driver, Drummer Driver, is also going to owe a pit stop here. So Toonbox may have played out a good strategy here, because if he catches these guys just at the right moment, again, he may just get a free opportunity to get position because of a pit stop. So Toonbox is in a great spot here right now to really secure a race win here for round 1 for Division 3 today, and really it's kind of his race to lose at this point, I think. Got TTJ set here in 5th place. He's 11.5 seconds in behind Toonbox, and he's kind of just managing that 11-second-ish gap here to that driver. He's not really able to gain, but he's not really losing either. He did pick quite a bit earlier than Toonbox as well for those soft tires, so his tires are going to be a little bit older than Toonbox up in front. We've got Nolander here. He's currently sitting in 6th position. He's 11.5 seconds in behind J-Set right now, and he's got a 4-second gap over Egon, so he's opened that gap up on Egon just a tiny little bit here in 7th place, and Egon's picked up a half-second track limit penalty there, which is unfortunate for him, as Lucky Alpha is really closing in on him here now. He's almost got the gap down to 3/4 of a second, and by the time that Egon has to serve this half-second penalty, that should be an opportunity for Alpha to slip up and grab a position into turns 9 and 10 here, but we'll stick with these two and see if that is the case here. Alpha's got to really close up here through the S's in order to be close enough to take advantage. He's got it down to 6/10 there, so he had a good set of braking right there when he came into the first set of corners there, and this is the penalty serving zone, so Egon's just going to pull off the racing line here, serve that penalty, and it's going to be side by side, but that does give Egon the defensive line coming into turns 9 and 10, but Alpha has just enough steam there to grab the position. He's going to move up into 7th place on the outside of turn 9 there, as Egon had to serve that penalty, so did just enough there to grab a position on his teammate there, and Reyes Jr. is closing the gap up 6 seconds here on the racetrack right now with 5 laps remaining, I guess, as he just comes across the line here. Alright, so it is still SoCal. He's got 1.9 seconds now over Lone Wolf Racing, so SoCal has done a pretty good job at managing the gap here in the lead so far. Love to hear it, Scott. Love to hear it, dude. Love to hear it. I'm glad to hear that you're working again. Sorry that you're being, hey, you know, it's a grind, but, you know, glad to hear things are going good for you, my dude. So SoCal coming into pit lane, Lone Wolf Racing coming into pit lane. The big question is now, are we going to see Driver come into pit lane here as well? It doesn't look like he is coming around that corner pretty quick, so he is going to move around the track here and take over the race lead from 3rd place, as SoCal and Lone Wolf Racing have both made pit stops. So Toonbox is now going to move up into 3rd place here as well. And again, like I said, just grabbing free positions from the drivers pitting up in front of him here. So he really has had it pretty easy here as a race leader so far today. He hasn't really had to battle too much for positions. He's just kind of gotten them because drivers are on a different pit stop sequence than he is. And I mean, you can't ask for a better scenario really as a race leader potential, taking over the race lead once that last driver makes his pit stops. So Toonbox, I'm sure, is aware of what's going on up in front of him here, and he knows he's in a good position, and really just needs to keep running his pace right now, and that should relate to a race win for him here today. SoCal in 3rd place after that pit stop, Lone Wolf Racing here in 4th, so that leaves TTJ set here 2.5 seconds in behind here in 5th place. Nolander still chasing in 6th, with Lucky here in 7th, Egon in 8th, and Reyes in 9th place. So the bigger question is now, when are we going to see Drummer come into pit lane to make that final pit stop? I'm pretty sure that he still owes a tire compound, but I could be wrong. We're doing fantastic, Scott. You betcha, my dude. Alright, so Drummer is coming up into turn 9 here, and are we going to see a pit entry here? No, he may have pit early on. He may have been one of the first drivers to pit too. He may not owe a pit stop here. He could be the overall race leader here right now. But Toonbox has a different plan in his mind. He is starting to apply the pressure a little bit here. He is closing in quickly. It's down to a second. So let's see if the gap closes coming out of turn 1 here. And it is. It's under a second. He's now definitely firmly in the slipstream range of our race leader here. And we're going to sit on this for a minute. SoCal, Lone Wolf Racing, and Jay all within about a second and a half of each other here in 3rd, 4th, and 5th place as well. But we are keeping our eyes on this battle for the lead here, as Toonbox is 1 car length separating him and Drummer right now in closing. So Toonbox is on the charge and looking for an attack here as we come into turn number 4 here. He's just going to set himself up. He may be trying to set himself up for something, maybe heading into turn 9 and 10, Reint and Red Bull Mobile there, but we will wait and see what he has in mind. He's definitely looking for the attack right now. He's done a really great job of closing up the leader, and now he just needs a good run through these S's here and potential setup here from the slipstream coming uphill here. Let's see what happens. Don't think he's going to be close enough here to make something happen, so we will potentially see something maybe heading into the Niki Lauda curve. And both of those guys go really wide there on the exit. That may pick both those drivers up the penalty here Definitely picked up Toonbox a penalty. Did it pick up Drummer? Yes, both drivers picking up that track limit penalty there, and that was most certainly a Red Bull track limit infraction. You have to keep 2 tires on the track surface here, essentially, if you don't want to get penalized. Turn 1 is a little bit of an exception. Other than that, the race officials here at Red Bull Ring are ruthless. The community calls this penalty ring for a reason. So side by side action for the race. Lead Toonbox has the position heading into turn number 3 here. He's got the inside line. Got to get the power down and avoid that cutback coming from Drummer Driver, and job done here from Toonbox. But now he's on a defense as Driver is going to tuck right in behind and try and respond. Now remember, both these drivers have a half-second penalty, so that's going to wash itself out here as they come back out of the S's in turns 7 and 8. So Toonbox, 0.6 of a second gap over Drummer. He needs to really have a clean sector here. He needs to really work on trying to open that gap up before the penalty here. The penalty, again, both drivers have penalties, so that's not going to change this battle here any. And we're going to go see what's going on up there in 4th, 5th, and 6th place here now as well. 3rd, 4th, and 5th place here as well. I see those cars are starting to close up a little bit there as well. So we're going to go check on things back there. But right now we're going to see if we're going to see a response here from Drummer as we come around to start lap number 24 here today. And we're almost done here in Division 3. That race went by quick. That was a very, very speedy, efficient race, let me tell you what. The Toonbox to come around, 2 to go here as he crosses start-finish line, and he's got a 1-second gap over Drummer Driver in 2nd place. SoCal here in 3rd place, and Lone Wolf Racing starting to try and apply some pressure here. He's got 0.7 of a second behind SoCal, and this is a battle for the final podium position. We got J-Set 3.2 seconds in behind these two as well, and if he can close up just a little bit on this lap, could potentially be able to maybe take advantage of an ongoing battle up in front of him here. Got Nolander in 6th place. He's 7.8 seconds down the road. We got Alpha here in 7th. We got Egon in 8th, and we got Reyes here in 9th position. In his Sim League Racing debut today. So GG's for his first competitive race under his belt, and I can't wait to hear what his feedback is in the server later tonight to see how he felt about it and to see how much he enjoyed it. But that's the point. We're always trying to draw new sim racers into organized league racing because it is a special kind of racing. It's clean racing, it's organized, it has rules, it has officiating behind it, and this is the end result of what we get. Some absolutely beautiful, clean, fast racing from our drivers. So if you're on the fence about league racing, because you do daily, say you're a daily racer, you do lots of that stuff, you know, it's not the same kind of racing. These are experienced sim racers in league racing, and they take a lot of pride in what they do. So Drummer Driver coming in for a last lap pit here. He's got that half-second penalty, which is unfortunate. So that is going to put SoCal and Lone Wolf Racing in the final 2 podium positions here, I believe, as they come around. We'll have to wait and see. Toonbox just went around the Niki Lauda curve here on the final lap. So let's see if these guys are going to grab that 3rd place position from Drummer Driver here as they come around. So it is definitely going to be SoCal now up into 2nd place. We got Lone Wolf Racing up into 3rd place. So now this potential battle is for 2nd and 3rd place. We got J-Set, who has come around and is going to scoop up 4th place there. Nolander is going to come around and grab a 5th place there as Drummer Driver just going to slot out in behind him there. And he's got that half-second track limit penalty, which is not going to help his case any. Alpha is there 4.4 seconds in behind with Egon chasing, and Reyes Jr. holding up the field here on 9th place. And Chip Reese had to put the car into pit lane due to technical malfunctions here at the beginning of the season. Hope to see him back here in round number 2. Alright, but we are going to stick with Toonbox here as he comes around the final few corners here in Division 3. And this is Season 2, Round 1 from Pure Racing League. And this season, it is that Group 3 Lexus these drivers are racing. And today, Toonbox is going to be our Round 1 Division 3 winner. Absolutely great performance from start to finish from this driver. Fastest in qualifying, started on pole position, and fastest driver on the racetrack here today. And it is going to be a 1st place finish for Toonbox. Congratulations to him. SoCal is going to bring it home here in 2nd place. He's going to hold the charge off from Lone Wolf Racing for Flying Fox. Great start to his season here. And Lone Wolf Racing, our defending champion, going to finish it off in 3rd place. TTJ set falls just a little short here today in 4th place. Rad Nolander comes around. It's going to be a 5th place finish for him. You can find him on Nolander Gaming over there on Facebook. We got Drummer Driver here in 6th place. It's going to be TT's Lucky Alpha coming through here in 7th place, and our cameraman is sleeping. We got Egon coming through here. It's going to be an 8th place finish for him, and TT Reyes Jr. to finish off his first race of his sim racing career here in 9th place, and you can find him over on YouTube as well. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our Div 3 race. We're not done yet. We have 2 more absolutely fantastic action-packed races for everybody here today. So it was a pole position and a victory here for Toombox, and an absolutely dominating performance, really, when you think about it, and fastest lap on the racetrack here as well. So it's Toombox in first, SoCal in second, Lone Wolf Racing in third place. We have JSet in fourth, Nolander in fifth, Drummer Driver in sixth, Alpha in seventh, Egon in eighth. We got Reyes Jr. in ninth, and Chip Racer in 10th place here today. And not a bad start to our racing season here. We're going to yank up that replay, and we're going to get ready to go to our next lobby, which I need to figure out who is hosting. Much better race and qualifying as per usual. Nicely done, Nolander. Nicely done, TDC. GG's drivers. Good race. Absolutely. We'll catch up with the chat here in between the races. So just bear with me here for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to take you to this screen right here. And get ready to set up for our next race. So oh, I'm not sure where the other one. Hey, well done. He must be already bounced. All right, we are going to jump out of this lobby and go move into our next lobby here. So we'll have about a 10-minute break, something like that, give or take. So now is a good time again, ladies and gentlemen, to use the restroom, refresh your beverages, refresh your snacks, and get ready for race number 2 here from Division 2 at Pure Racing League. I hope everybody enjoyed the first race. The first couple of races this season are always drivers feeling each other out. It's a little bit of nerves. It's a little bit of still getting used to the racing car. So as the season progresses, we are going to see some crazy showdowns, without a question of a doubt, from this driving field here this season. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it all works out. All right, so we do have Lobby 2 up. We're bouncing in here. Wow, this is a stacked lineup. My goodness, chat. Oh my. All right, let's catch up on chat real quick while we have a minute. Definitely got to say thank you to all the viewers that are out here showing this huge amount of support today. Chris coming in with the heart and the share on stream. Got Skunk coming in with the thumbs up on the stream. Paul coming in with the heart. Aaron Benson with the like. OGR Toolshed with the like as well. Got Leo coming in with the heart on the stream. PD coming in with the like and the share on the stream. TDC Gaming coming in with the heart. Find him on Facebook. Nolander BFAM coming in with the care and the triple share. Nolander Gaming coming in with the care. TDC Gaming coming in with the share. Kilty coming in with the like. Madam Mel, legend, coming in with a like and a share as well. Kilty coming in with a quadruple share. Brad Duncan coming in with the like. Scott coming in with the heart on the share on stream. We got Cameron coming in with that like, and the legend himself, Ghost of Viper Gaming, coming in with that like over there on the Facebook stream. Appreciate all the support, and thank you for all of those likes over here on the YouTube channel as well. Unfortunately, I can't see that information in detail, but I know you legends are absolutely smashing those buttons today, and definitely share this out there if you haven't done so already. Get it out there. Division 2 is coming next, and well, Division 3 was fast. Division 2 is going to be quicker. And then imagine what our next division after that is going to be like. So this is the cream of the crop. These are basically our high tier A+ drivers, and I would say low split World Tour caliber drivers here in Division 2 in North America, this is going to be a fast lobby. I don't even know what to expect here for times. We've seen 28 ones in qualifying from Toonbox there in Division 3, so I would suspect we're going to see at least that in qualifying here in Division 2 today. And we'll see the lineup when we get everybody out on track and we get things underway here, but it is going to be crazy. Excited to hear podium interviews. Are we doing that this week? I don't think we're doing that this week, Rob. We need to set that up still. Oh, we do have an interview room. We do. Clean and steady for a top 5, Fax. Whew, I'm sweating. I don't know how the drivers are feeling, but I am all worked up here in the comm booth right now. They need to get the air conditioner turned up on high up in here because this racing action is hot today. Welcome in, everybody. If you're just tuning in, we are here on behalf of Pure Racing League. Absolutely amazing group here from Street Version coming together, putting together this absolutely great racing league here in North America. This is some of North America's top drivers in the game right now in Gran Turismo 7 that have put this league together, and that has drawn in a crazy competitive field of drivers for this season number 2 here in our Group 3 championship. We had a great Group 3 championship last season. We ran that McLaren 650S. We had 2 packed divisions there, and Lone Wolf Racing was our Division 2 winner. So the defending champion here for our Division 3 essentially, and a good 3rd place finish there in that last race for him as well. So it's a good start to his season as far as his trying to defend that championship goes. But now we've got this extra division in place. So Division 2 is a toss-up. Who is going to win Division 2? Well, I'm looking at this list of drivers, and your guess would be as good as mine, in all honesty. Some of the drivers in this list in Division 2 are some of the top drivers within my community from GT45 Gaming here, and they're only sitting in Division 2. So this is going to be a crazy race, ladies and gentlemen, without a question of a doubt. And send those text messages out to your friends, your family that love to watch racing, because we're going to put on a show for the next 3 hours still for everybody here yet. Plenty of sim racing action coming for the whole crew. Apparently we're doing interviews? I was unaware. My bad. I thought we were skipping them this week for timing purposes. All right, let's catch up on some of the chat here. This is a crazy amount of chat to catch up on. Signups are not closed for the series. Signups are never closed for league racing. You can always sign up, come in as a substitute driver. So I'll post a Pure Racing League Discord server invite in the GT45 Gaming Discord server after our broadcast tonight for the Winner Circle community to go jump in there and talk to the admin staff over there and see what they can set up for qualifying and all that great stuff. So it is open to everybody. You don't have to be a high skill level racer to participate in Pure Racing League. I know we're hyping up how fast our driving community is this season. That's just the way it worked out. We also had 25 drivers sign up and not make qualifying conditions as well this season, which means we would have had 5 divisions if all the drivers would have made it this season to qualify qualify. So with that being said, it is open to everybody. It doesn't matter what your skill level is. The important thing about league racing is that it teaches you to be a better racer just by driving with drivers against drivers that are faster than you, but they're clean and they race fair. Naturally, you just start to develop a better craft, more pace, and the drivers will take the time to give you tips, give you tricks, jump on track with you, help you fine tune and try to perfect your craft as well. So it's more than just a competition between racers. It's a community, it's a family, it's a group, it's a brother and a sister, and whatever you want to call it. Everybody helps each other out, and the reason for that is because it provides closer racing at the end of the season. By the end of the season, those drivers that were struggling have picked up pace a little bit, and now they're battling with drivers. And that's why league racing is so important for the sim racing community, because it takes a lot of the unpredictability factor out of, say, daily races or manufacturers or nation races or open lobby racing, when you're just jumping from random lobbies to random lobbies racing. It's a different vibe, it's a different feel. So, league racing, again, I say it all the time. If you're sitting on the fence about league racing, highly recommend it. Even if you are completely brand new to sim racing, completely inexperienced, doesn't matter. Jump in, give it a shot. There are racers out there that are going to take you under their wing, and they're going to teach you the ways of the sim racing community. And next thing you know, you're having fun, you're laughing, and you're enjoying sim racing, and that's what it's all about. At the end of the day, yes, we're competing. Sometimes there's prizes on the line, sometimes it's just bragging rights on the line. There are some rewards on the line for this series here. I'm not going to get too deep into that right now. We'll bring more of that information to everybody as the season progresses, and I just want to make sure I'm giving proper information before we talk about what's on the line for the season here for our drivers. But even though the most important thing, and the thing that's going to make a league or organization feel like they've got things moving in the right direction, is the drivers just coming back and saying they had fun. And fun is the key word in all of this, what we do. It's about fun. We're playing a video game here at the end of the day. We're in our own little virtual world here as we do this. It's very realistic. It's taken very seriously, and the lines between sim racing and real world racing are really genuinely starting to blur because of content creation, and that's fantastic. That's a great thing. But at the end of the day, we're here for fun, and we're just here to build friendships and bonds, and have some good spirited competition. So at the end of the day, that's why we say it is open for everyone, because we want everyone to enjoy sim racing, to enjoy the experience. Got a big lobby here in Division 2 today. This is a very full lobby here. We're missing, looks like 2 of our drivers here on grid today. So that's fantastic. So let's start out. We'll say a huge shout out to SV Street Version bringing this series together. A huge love out to the administration staff and behind the scenes. They have been working hard post season, leading up into the season, to get everything ready for the season here. Just much love to the drivers as well, putting in the work, being here to compete. There's a lot of hype and a lot of good vibes in the Discord community right now over at Pure Racing League. Everybody is really excited for this season to finally get underway. And now that we're official, everybody can take a little bit of a breath of relief now, and we can get to focusing on the competition at hand here this season. So we've seen an absolutely crazy race in race number 1. We're going to see an even crazier race in race number 2, and I don't even know what we can call race number 1. It's going to be a show. It's going to be a show. So I'm just kind of checking things out here. I'm looking around as the drivers are doing some free practice here on the racetrack right now, and just taking a look at some of the times that are being thrown down here by our Division 2 drivers, and they're definitely quicker than the other lobby. I will at least tell you guys that much. How much quicker, I'm not going to say right now, but they are definitely quicker. Sir Shredda Knight. We got some of the knights at the round table up in the house here too. Love to see it. Love to see it. We got some of our RA racers from the UK, or some of our North American RA drivers here in this lobby. We got some R Lab drivers here as well. We got some Ram drivers in here as well. Who else we got? Got some independent drivers as well. All right, so much like Lobby 3, we see a lot of the 1010 Sim Racers drivers in Lobby 3. We're seeing a lot of R Lab drivers here in Lobby 2. I got 4 on the grid for sure here in Lobby 2. So there you go. Just a little bit of a taste of the pace of this lobby, per se. It's just throwing that team name out there. I'm sure many of you know who these guys are. Racing Lab Esports, obviously. Yeah, quick group of fellas, needless to say. So we're definitely going to be in for a treat here. Let's talk a little bit more about Red Bull Ring here while we wait. The Niki Lauda curve is a difficult turn to get right. The painted surface on the entry and the exit, plus the sausage curb on the apex, I'd expect to see passing opportunities here and penalties here as well. And we've seen a little combination of both in Division 3, and that is turn number 1 there. So turn number 3, I guess technically, is called Remus, and it's a sharper than appearing corner. It also a little bit tricky. Drivers can use the hill grade to assist with braking. The hill crest can make grip difficult to find, and the sausage curb can on exit can upset the car, and that is on the exit curb. There's a big yellow curb on the outside of the red and white curbing there on the exit of turn number 3, Remus, and it's a beefy sausage curb. It will most certainly bounce your race car around, and in real life, that could actually damage your suspension, your tow, your camber settings in your race car. It could change the way your car handles as well. So you really do need to be conscious of the yellow sausage curbing here on the racetrack. Turn number 4, Schlossgold. The downhill grade makes braking for Schlossgold a touch more difficult. The additional elevation change in the turn itself can make grip a bit more challenging, and that is big slide there from that driver on practice there. Definitely the case there. It's easy to go wide in that corner and shoot off into the gravel on the track exit there. Roush is a blind turn. Drivers can't see the turn due to the hill crest, so drivers are forced to have visual references for their turn-in point, and that's the start of the S sectors in the middle of the racetrack there. And then that leads us into turn number 7, Worth Curve. The downhill grade into the braking zone for Worth Curve will make braking difficult. The change in elevation mid-turn will help with grip. Drivers will need to use throttle control to keep the car balanced and well-behaved as they go through the Worth Curve. The track starts to descend as drivers enter right. Drivers can really clip the apex curbing without incurring a penalty. Of course, that's turn number 9, and then in Red Bull Mobile, turn number 10 has a small sausage curb to the inside of the apex that may upset the car. The elevation change in this turn will have an impact on grip levels through turn 10 heading in towards the exit. This green circuit is located northwest of Graz. It's an old city in Austria. It's based on the Austrian first constructed in 1969. It was also called the A1 ring from 97 to 2010. This is a high-speed circuit combining sharp, tight corners and long, flat-out sections. And while the course layout appears simple, the circuit is located in a hilly area, creating large ascents and descents. This makes the track much more difficult than it seems at first glance, and the skill of the drivers will greatly affect the lap times on this racing track. I just want to say a huge shout out to Special Operations Administrator Miss Devious here from GT45 Gaming for the track map information and all the related information for Red Bull Ring here. Of course, everything that we just talked about there and the track maps that we've seen on the screen here are done and researched, and all that hard work is done by Miss Devious here, one of the administrators of GT45 Gaming. So just want to give a huge shout out to her for the hard work on those track maps, as there's a lot of information in those maps, and she puts a lot of work into them. So a little bit of an update in the maps recently here as well, obviously with the new logo in them now. So just much love to everybody behind the scenes, volunteers that make it. The teamwork makes the dream work here when it comes to sim racing. So a huge love to the team in behind the scenes that keep all the parts moving. All right, we are getting ready for qualifying conditions here in our division number 2. So let's get some racing going here, ladies and gentlemen, shall we? All right. Alright, so the lobby has been changed. We are just waiting for race control to basically make it official. So we got a couple drivers coming out, just having a little fun. And then we are going to send it no game audio. Let's flip that on. There we go. Got David coming in with that thumbs up on the Facebook stream there as well. Much love, my dude. Appreciate you. Hope you're doing well. Alright, we got some great looking race cars on the track here today again in Division 2. Half the fun of sim racing is painting cars, for real. Some great looking liveries, depending on how you pronounce it, on the racetrack there in Division 3, and we'll get a good look at some of those here in Division number 2 as the race progresses here as well. But we got a big lobby here in Division 2, and I believe our Division 1 lobby is a full stack. Should have a full grid over there as well today, so everybody's just sitting here and watching what each division is doing, moving into their racing time, and we're about a minute away here. About a minute away. We had some beautiful donuts being had there, but a little bit of a throttle mistake there, and nosing the car into the wall there. So a couple of good solid donuts there. Now we got a banner in our way here. Can't even see the smoke show now. Just Gran Turismo making sure that AlphaTauri is getting their love here. Little look at some of the race cars here on the racetrack while we're at it. Ooh, a little bit of a fuzzy shot. Cameraman needs to clean his lens there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we are officially in qualifying conditions here, I think. Drivers will be resetting, we'll have a lobby reset, and then we'll have a go button. Alright. I think it was Yanis Racing as our first driver out. He has Lucas right in behind here, so there we go. Got the drivers swerving left and right here, the scrubbing in tires, so we are definitely now in qualifying condition here. I believe this is going to be a 5-minute qualifying run for this one. I could be wrong. It could be 10 for Division 2 as well. I know Division 1 is 5. We'll wait and see here, but it is qualifying underway, and it's going to be led out here by Yanis Racing. We got Lucas 369, he's second out on track. We've got Sir Shredda Knight in third place on track here. We got the Stig fourth out on track. We got Dino fifth out on track. We got Halix sixth out on track. So the R-Lab guys all nose to tail here. We got PS Delino in seventh place. We got R-Lab Mr. SBS in 8th place. We got T-Bap in 9th position here. We've got Ram Apex GT here, 10th out on track. We've got Finalized 11th out on track. We've got RA Streeter Tom 12th out on track. We got Bo Snipe in 13th place out on track. So when I said this was a stacked field, I wasn't kidding. These are a field of A+ S-rated drivers, basically. A couple of smaller rated drivers, but only because they don't do a whole lot of daily races, I think. It does not mean that their pace is not on point. Alright, so it's Yanis Racing here, and he is going to lead us through here to start Division 2's official season off here for our GT3 Championship here from PRL, and it is again that Group 3 Lexus RCF 2017 racing machine that the drivers are racing this season. And it's a fun car, so this is going to be a great series. And Yanis and Lucas here very close together, and this is the first official hot lap here in qualifying as the drivers are going around. Now, you are allowed to use slip, you're allowed to use the draft in qualifying. However, you have to be very careful about doing so, because if you bump or create an incident during qualifying to another driver in the process of doing so, you will be penalized for that action. So it is at your own risk, so to speak, here when it comes to slipstream and bump drafting during qualifying. Again, all 3 racing tires are required here in the race today for our Division 2 drivers as well. It will be the racing hard, the racing medium, and those are racing soft tires required, and they only have to hit the tarmac surface, so 1 lap is sufficient for any of the tires to be used, and that will clear the mandate on that tire. We've seen a heavy soft tire stints coming from our Division 3 drivers. I suspect we'll see much of the same thing here from Division 2, but the strategies could be done differently here compared to the Division 3 race, and that is where it's going to be interesting. Dino moves up into 4th, Stig into 3rd, 5th, PS Delino moves up into 3rd place. Yanis is down into 8th. Obviously, we've seen him make a mistake on his lap there. Teasbap moves up into 8th round. Apex moves up into 8th, knocks Teasbap down into 9th place. Streeter Tom's coming through. He's going to move up into 8th position, and Bo Snipe will be our last driver through here to put in his first hot lap of qualifying. We'll see where that places him as he comes through here now as well. So we are officially underway here now in qualifying, and this will set our starting order on our race grid here for today's race, and it's a 28.4 for Bo, good enough for 8th place. So it's a Lucas in pole position currently, and it's a 27.544. So just to put it in perspective for everybody, Division 3 fastest qualifying time was a 1:28.149. Lucas's first hot lap was a 1:27.544. So that just goes to show the difference in the pace of this lobby compared to lobby number 3 already. So Lucas is coming back around here. We'll stick with him here as he comes through to see if he makes an improvement on that lap time, and he does not. It is still a 27, however. We got Sir Shredded Knight here. Yanis Racing with a 28.6, moves a little bit closer there to Lucas. The Stake with a 28.1, that's going to put him in 6th place. We got Helix with a 28 flat. That puts him up into 5th place there. And we're going to stick on with Sir Shredded Knight here. Teasbap comes through with a 28.4. Apex Ram with a 28.4. Finalized with a 28.6. So the driver's now starting to find that time. A 28.2 from Streeter Tom. Moves him up into 7th place. We're going to stick with Sir Shredded Knight here on this one. And then we'll move through the field here to each driver as they come through. And we'll just keep watching our eye on those personal records that come out underneath our live timing screen there, and try to give as many of the drivers a good lap around here and qualifying throughout the season as we can. So we got Ryan Trade here, and then we got Red Bull Mobile, final corner of the racetrack here, turn number 10. Very fast sweeping corner here. Want to get as much of that inside apex cut as you can without incurring a penalty, and that should relate to speed on the exit. Oh, and a half-second track limit penalty there for Sir Shredded Knight, and that's going to kill his next lap here as well. All right, so we got PS Delino here in 3rd place as well, and just heading into the S sector here. I'm not sure who he's in behind there. We got Lucas up in pit lane here right now, still sitting in pole position or over Sir Shredded Knight right now. Our 3rd place driver is about 0.2 of a second in behind Sir Shredded Knight here on the racetrack, and we got Helix improving his time now into the 27s here as well, and that is going to be good enough for 4th place, 7/1000 of a second in behind our UK driver here, Delino. So we got 1, 2, looks like 3, 4 drivers here from I believe that's Norway, if I'm not mistaken. Norway, Denmark, one of the two. Can't remember exactly how each one is different, but not an improvement there for Delino. So that was not the ideal lap there for him. Let's find somebody who's getting close to the start-finish line here. Ram Apex GT just came through bow snipe, improving on his lap there. It's good enough for 10th place on the grid here currently in qualifying. We got Teesbap here in 11th. We got finalized in 12th. We got Yanis here in 13th. He hasn't been able to get a proper qualifying run lap in yet either. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys make it work. Now Lucas had to go into pit lane and come back out, so he's on an out lap. So Shredded Knight just come through there, wasn't able to find any more time on Lucas, but he's only 0.137, so just a hair over a tenth of a second behind our pole sitter right now. Delino is in third place. He's only a tenth in behind second. I mean, this is splitting hairs right here between our lab drivers. It's very crazy. Clearly these guys have worked together a lot throughout the preseason here and are very, very closely paced, as it's 3/100ths of a second separating Helix from Mr. BS there, and then from there it's 2/10 separating him and the Stig. So very, very closely paced here. No improvement there for either one of those two drivers. One of them picked up a penalty there as they're coming through. We got the Stig and Streeter Tom here coming through next here. So let's hit Streeter Tom up here as he comes through, see if he can find an improvement. He picks up a half-second track limit penalty. You hate to see that. The Stig with the 28.5 there, that's not an improvement for him either there. So the driver is now struggling to find that extra time here. These tires are scrubbed in now at this point, so that shouldn't be the issue. It's just these little mistakes here. Seeing lots of track limit penalties here in qualifying too, and that never helps. Streeter Tom here in 7th place. He's got a track limit penalty. Dino here in 8th right now. He's 3/100ths behind Streeter Tom. Teesbap is a 10th in behind Dino. We have Apex GT here. He's only 3/100ths of a second in behind Teesbap. 6/100ths separating Apex GT and Bow Snipe in 11th. And then it's a 10th, and again 2/100ths of a second. So literally there isn't any gap bigger than 2/10ths of a second separating one driver from the next here through qualifying right now. So this is very, very close pace lobby, and I think that's going to result in some really, really close door-to-door racing here once we get underway. Let's go, Tommy, says Chris. Hey. All right, so the R-Lab fellas, these guys very closely paced together, and I feel like if they get nose to tail during this race, they are going to do some damage as a team here against this field. So it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this race here with well, 3 of them right now starting basically all beside each other on the grid as it stands at the moment. We got the Stig coming through here. We'll see if he finds an improvement on this lap as he comes around here. We got Tom coming up just ahead there as well, and no improvement there from Tom. There's going to be no improvement there from the Stig either. So Shredded Knight, he is coming into the S's here. Yanis Racing improving at a 27.9. That's going to jump him from 13th up into 6th place. So that was a good flying lap right there from Yanis Racing, and that secures him up right into the mid pack there. So it is still Lucas 36 provisionally in pole position here, and we got 9 seconds remaining in qualifying here. So now the drivers, as they come across, are going to get that checkered flag waved at them, and we'll have a grid set here in about a minute and a half's time. Alright, so Shredded Knight trying to find that pole position here as he comes around, and it's a 28.3, so it's not going to be good enough to unseat Lucas from the pole position. So we got PS Delino here. He's coming around. He's still on a flyer. He's just heading into the S's here, and you got a few of the R-Lab drivers up in front here as well. So is that Helix up in front of him? We got Helix coming around right now, so we'll actually stick with him as he comes around here, and this is going to be the final qualifying lap for all the drivers here now as they come across that start-finish line, and it does not seem to be an improvement there for him. We've got Mr. SBS here coming through, no improvement there either for that driver. No improvement there. We got Yanis coming through here. He had a great flying lap last time around. Streeter Tom improving. Now he's going to just jump over Yanis Racing. Yanis isn't going to improve there, obviously, with that penalty. We got Apex GT coming through there. No improvement either from him. So let's go through. Lucas is in pit lane. Driver's got 4-ways on. I think we have all our drivers across our grid here. Indeed we do. Alright, so our qualifying is set. So from 1st to 13th place, separated only by 1 second. This is about 4 car lengths 5 car lengths on a racetrack surface, separating first place from 13th place here in our lobby today for Division 2, ladies and gentlemen. So settle in, because we're in for a absolutely hard-nosed, hard-fought battle here in Division 2. So qualifying is underway here. The timer will run out shortly, and I believe we'll have about a 2-minute pause in between qualifying and our racing conditions here. So let's take a look at those qualifying results. This is Lucas in pole position. So Shredded Knight's going to line up beside him. Starting row 2 is going to be PS Delino with Arlab Halix lined up beside him. So row 3 will be Arlab, Mr. SBS, and RA Streeter Tom lined up beside him. To start row 4 will be Yanis Racing with Arlab's The Stig lined up beside him. In row number 5 is going to be Arlab Dino and Teasbap. Row number 6 will be Ram, Apex GT, and Bo Snipe. And row number 7 will be finalized to start our race off here in Division number 2, round number 1. Tyrannosaurus Rex coming in with the sub over on the YouTube. Much love, my dude. I want to talk about an absolute legend of a content creator, Tyrannosaurus Rex, over there on the YouTube and Twitch channels. The legend, that guy. Great content and an absolutely crazy fast racer himself as well. Got Justin coming in with that like as well over on the Facebook. All right, chat, are we ready to go racing? We're ready to go racing. No. All right, drivers are lined up. We're on the grid. We're going to do it again, ladies and gentlemen. 25 laps here around Red Bull Ring. Racing hard, racing medium, and racing soft tires are required here throughout the race. It is 6 times tire wear and 2 times fuel consumption. Kick them tires, light them fires. Division 2 is going green, and we're green, and all 13 drivers get off the grid in a nice clean start here. We had a driver who got a late start in Division 3 there, and unfortunately for him ended up going in behind a wall there. We got a driver going really wide there, Delino going super wide there into the Nicky Lottie curve, and may pick up a penalty for that there very early on in the race. Now remember, these drivers are on cold racing tires here, and they're barreling down, fighting for those early positions here. So we got a battle for second and third place here between Sir Shredda and Delino right now, and Sir Shredda's on the inside line here, so should be able to get the job done, and he's going to move up into second place. Delino falls down into third place. We got Mr. SBS up into fourth, Halix in fifth, and Streeter Tom right here in sixth place, and he is in a battle right now with one of the R-Lab drivers here. This is Stig, but Tom is just going to defend here, and we're 2 deep all the way through the field here as we head through into Roach Corner. So look at this field go nose to tail through the first half of this lap, but Lucas with the whole shot here and immediate 1.4 second gap on the field. We got Delino here in second place, and 1 second. A penalty stacked up here for this driver, and that is going to drop him through this field very early on. That 1 second penalty may put him very well at the back of the pack here. So he's going to move off that line. He's going to serve that penalty. So Shred is going to grab a spot here. How many spots is he going to lose with that penalty? Shred is going to take the spot. We got Mr. SBS gets it. Streeter Tom moves up into fourth. Delino manages to hold on to fifth place here. So that was a bit of a surprise. We got a bunch of drivers coming into pit lane here, making pit stops. Halix here in sixth place. We got the Stig coming into pit lane. We got Bo Snipe coming into pit lane. We got Ram Apex GT coming into pit lane. Yanis Racing coming into pit lane. And Dino has some damage here on the back end of his car. So something happening here to that driver early on in the race and off the back of the pack here. But this is a light damage model here as well in the race here, so that damage will go away from the driver. So Shredda here in second place, and he is definitely getting some pressure here from Mr. SBS from our lab, and nose to tail racing here right now in this Division 2 group here as we are underway on our second lap of the race. Streeter Tom right there in fourth place, and he has about 7/10 of a second, but he has Delino up in his business, and looking up the inside coming into turn 4 is Delino, and he is going to get the job done. Move made, and fourth place position for Delino. Tom falls back into fifth place there, and lots of early battling here in our Division 2 race. We got Halix here, half-second track limit penalty. That's going to put him at risk to losing position here to Teasbap, who has moved up the grid very quickly here and up into 7th place. We got finalized from 13th to 8th here. We've got Dino now back up into 9th place. We got the Stig here in 10th, keeping in mind some some of these drivers have made pit stops already. Both Snipe here in 11th place, and he's one of those drivers, and oof, that 3-second track limit penalty, that one's going to sting. Yanis Racing here in 12th place, and Ram Apex GT in 13th position. It is early enough in the race, so that 3-second penalty can definitely be made up, as we are just starting lap 3 here at the front half of our pack. So plenty of time to make up for that penalty. Still not an ideal situation, however. It is a Lucas 369 here, though, 1.5 seconds ahead of Sir Shredda Knight and Mr. SBS, our current pole drivers right now. But PS Delino is charging right here in 4th place and closing the gap back up 0.4 of a second. He's got about a car length separating him and 3rd place right now, with our lab Mr. SBS in front of him here. And very patient, calculated racing right now here from Division 2. The moves we have seen have been very decisive and very well executed, and that allows the drivers to continue on, not losing pace while battling. So we're definitely in for a good race here in Division 2 tonight, without a question of a doubt. And Streeter Tom feeling a little bit of the heat here, as he's now losing pace here on this front group a little bit, and starting to feel a little bit of heat from Halix in behind here as well. But we got a battle, a defensive position there for Mr. SBS on Delino, and that was a great time to defend there, as Delino definitely wanted to take a look, but the defensive line here from Mr. SBS, textbook, and manages to hold the position off here, and he did leave it open there for Delino to take a look up the inside, and we may see this coming into turn 9 here in the side-by-side action, as we are nearing the end of lap number 3, and this is for 3rd place here on the racetrack. And Delino up the inside coming through turn number 10. A big wiggle on the power. That's going to allow Mr. SBS to stay real tight in behind and maybe respond coming back into Nicky Lauda curve here in turn number 1. Is he going to take a look? No, he's just going to stay in behind Delino here in 4th place and maybe wait for a better opportunity, or maybe he's going to use this strategy to do a little fuel and tire saving. Hard to say. We got Streeter Tom here in 5th place, and a little bit of battling has allowed him to close back up on that front group. He's back within the slipstream range, but he still has Halix right there as well, a second in behind, trying to close that gap up. Teasbap is just less than a second in behind here as well, in 7th position, and finalized here in 8th place. So these two drivers, very quick early movers here in the field. The Stig down into 9th place here right now, but has made a pit stop. Yanis Racing, also one of those drivers who's made a pit stop early on in the race, post Snipe. Our lab Dino here has now made a pit stop, and Ram Apex GT as well. Now Dino had a little bit of an incident early on in the race. I don't know if it was a self-induced incident or if it was a contact-induced incident. But nonetheless, it cost him a little bit of time on the racetrack, but still sitting in 12th place here even after that, and a pit stop. So not all bad here for that driver right now, but it is Lucas here right now, 1.6 second gap over Sir Shredda Knight, and not really driving away from the field at all here. So it is going to be anybody's game here today for sure in this race, and every little mistake I think is going to be very crucial here for each of these drivers in the field. We got Delino here in 3rd position, and purple there for him as he comes through with a 128.451, so currently fastest man on the racetrack as well on lap number 5 here as he comes around, and still has Mr. SBS in the slipstream just right there chilling. But Delino has closed up huge here on Sir Shredda coming out through the Nicky Lauda curve right there. And are we going to see a battle for 2nd and 3rd place here? Not at the moment. Yes, ooh, a beautiful setup move right there. Settles in behind, just makes it look like he was just going to settle in and take the racing line in behind Sir Shredda, and Sir Shredda left the inside line wide open, and Delino said, "Thank you very much, mate. I am going to walk right through that open door and take 2nd place away." Absolutely beautiful setup and execution right there by PS Delino, and this boy has come to race today. So Shredda Knight here in 3rd place, and he just got turned inside out right there, and now a half-second track limit penalty too as well. So going to find himself falling down the field here, another position yet when he serves his penalty, and it's going to be Mr. SBS that's going to take advantage of that penalty as well, as he is tucked right in underneath that rear spoiler of that black Lexus up in front, and it's going to be a free position gain there for Mr. SBS as that penalty gets served. And it's about 0.8 of a second you lose coming uphill there with a half-second track limit penalty, so it's not too bad, but it was enough for a position right there. And now that allowed Street Streeter Tom and our Labs Halix to really close in into that slipstream range and start to apply the pressure. We got nose to tail racing here in Division 2, and we're starting lap number 6, ladies and gentlemen. Absolute fantastic driving here by our field. Teasbap in 7th place, and he has finalized right there, tucked in behind as well here in 8th place. We've got the Stig in 9th position here, going a little bit wide through turn 10, probably going to pick up a half-second track limit penalty for that there. Again, our race officials here at Red Bull Ring are pretty ruthless. No, they're going to let him away with that one, so look at that. Hey, they got a heart. Yeah, this racing here in 10th place. Bo Snipe in 11th. We got Dino here in 12th place. And Ram Apex GT here now in 13th. And has penalty there as well. So pit stops are going to start to separate the field like we've seen in Division 3. And then, of course, we'll see that field closed right back up near the end of the race once those pit stop sequence have finished. So I really did suspect we'd see similar style strategies from the majority of our driving field here today, and it seems again in Division 2 it's also going to be a split strategy. We've had some early pit stoppers, and we're going to have what looks to be some late pit stop sequences here from the front half of the pack. So it's going to be interesting to see how it works. Toombox in Division 3 with an absolutely decisive race win here in round number 1. Had a great strategy and was actually used a mid pit stop strategy to get his win there, and really didn't have to fight for that win too much either there near the end. So strategy can really be important here in these races. So PS Delino is going to take over the race lead here as Lucas now makes his pit stop here, one of 2 pit stops bare minimum these drivers are going to make here today. That's going to put Mr. SBS up into 2nd place, and Halix now up into 3rd place. So we got Shredda Knight here in 4th position, and Streeter Tom still very close in behind here in 5th place as well. So our top 5 drivers are still all very close together. We got Finalized and Teasbap here in 6th and 7th place, and they're just starting to close up to the grid here, this front pack. So the front pack is becoming a 7-car pack here very quickly. Lucas, after his pit stop, he's going to find himself 15 seconds behind that pack now, and he's still got 6 seconds on the Stig in 9th place. Now, the Stig made that little bit of a mistake early on in the race, whether it was a car-to-car contact or a self-induced incident, we're not sure, but nonetheless, it definitely cost him some time, and he had some damage on his racing car, which cost him a little bit of extra time for 30 seconds, and then he made that pit stop. So Lucas 36 is showing pretty good pace here to come out in front of those guys after making his pit stop. Yanis here in 10th position with Bo Snipe very close in tow here in 11th place as well. We've got Dino here in 12th position. We got Apex GT here rounding out our field in 13th. So this man has absolutely been pushing hard here so far early on in this race. He has set up and executed a couple of really beautiful moves here on the racetrack to get himself up into the front part of this pack. And this man is most certainly probably the most focused racer on this racetrack here in Division 2 right now. You can just tell. Finalized here in the 2nd place, has made his way around Teasbap here now, and this may not be necessarily hard battling. This may very well just be 2 drivers working together. One made a mistake, the other one went around, the other one tucks back in behind type thing, and if they can do that efficiently, it could help them catch up to Delino up in front. So we got Mr. SBS in pit lane, Halix in pit lane, Shredda Knight in pit lane, Streeter Tom in pit lane, and Lucas 36.9 now in pit lane here as well, and Bo Snipe also in pit lane. So Lucas and Bo Snipe now have cleared 2 pit stops, which means their tire mandates are done here. So interesting strategies. We're seeing again a variation of strategies. We have the early pit stop strategies versus the late pit stop strategies here today, and again we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. In Division 3 it was actually a mid-race pit stop strategy that won the race, so going to be interesting to see how it works out here in Division 2. Teasbap right now holding down that final podium position as it stands currently in the race. We have Mr. SBS still solidly in 4th place, so teammate Halix just in behind by about a second. So Shredda Knight here in 6th place, and he has the Stig very close in behind, just a car length separating these 2 right now from our lab as well. Streeter Tom's just in behind them by about 1.2 seconds here, and closing, having a pretty good start to his racing season here so far. Yanis Racing, half-second track limit penalty. I always hate to see that. Struggling with penalties here are some of the drivers today. We got Dino in 10th position. Lucas, after his 2nd pit stop here, finds himself 48 seconds behind the race leader and in 11th. Bo Snipe is in 12th place, 8 seconds in behind, and Ram Apex GT here 5 seconds in behind Bo Snipe. So drivers are officially settled into race pace and their strategies at this point. Delino has an 8-second lead over second place driver Finalized and third place driver Teasbap. Nice comfort, a little bit of a cushion there. Now, not a what I would say you can spin and go off track kind of cushion, still be okay, but you can make a mistake and still be okay kind of cushion currently for our race leader here. Teasbap, he's chilling right now in behind Finalized. I know this driver quite well. He is a very calculated racer, and Finalized is as well, actually, as a matter of fact. So I know both the races fairly well, so this is design. This is Teasbap choosing just to sit here and let that slipstream of the Lexus in front of him kind of pull him ahead and pull him around the racetrack in a sense a little bit for free. By doing so, that's actually going to help him save a little bit of fuel. It's going to help him save a little bit of tire as well. Not that they necessarily need to do that in this race, but it could make the difference come pit strategy. So Teasbap is actually going to come in and make a pit stop here right now as we're talking about that. And Finalized will now just be in second place on his own here. So that should put Helix here in third place as he comes around turns 9 and 10 here. That is a fairly good gap though between him and third place Teasbap right now. It was about 15 seconds when Teasbap came into pit lane. So let's see where he ends up. And fastest lap on the racetrack right now by Helix as he comes around there as well, 128.343. So currently right now the fastest man on the racetrack here as well is our third place driver Helix. So Teasbap does get jumped there. The Stig comes into pit lane here as well. Mr. SBS should grab a position there. Lucas should also grab that position there with that pit stop. And Lucas very quickly all of a sudden finds himself back up into 6th place after making 2 pit stops here early on in this race. Stig's coming out here. He's in 7th place with Shredder Knight and Streeter Tom here coming around at race pace into the Niki Lauda curve right now. And where do they come out in comparison? So Shredder's going to actually just come out ahead of the Stig, and Streeter Tom's going to find himself literally tucked right in behind the Stig here on that pit stop sequence. Streeter Tom, though, however, has a half-second track limit penalty there, and that is going to have to be served at the electronic enforcement penalty serving zone at the end of our S's here in the middle of the racetrack, and that'll cost him about 0.8 of a second to serve that penalty. We got Bo Snipe here in 10th place, and he's got Yanis all over the rear end of his Lexus here right now. Yanis Racing is tucked in, and he is going to take a look here heading into turn number 4 up on the inside. A little bit of side-by-side action, small amount of contact there. A big slide there from Yanis Racing there as he tried to get down on the exit there and manages to hold it together and manages to keep the position. So Yanis Racing is going to grab a P10 over Bo Snipe, and we've lost Ram Apex GT here in the race here on lap number 11. So Ram Apex GT with his car retired behind pit wall here early on in this race as well, and one of our Dig 2 drivers having some mechanical issues with his Lexus RCF here today, and that's unfortunate, but that crew will work hard on that car and they'll get it back up and running and ready to go for round number 2 in 2 weekends time. So Finalized coming around is 9.6 seconds separating him and Delino right now. We got Helix in 3rd place. It's 16 seconds to him and 2nd place. Now keeping in mind our 1st and 2nd place drivers have yet to make a pit stop. Mr. SBS here in 4th place. He's 20 seconds behind his teammate and has Lucas all up in his business here in 5th place. Now I know lots about Lucas 369. He is a very fast driver. He's also a real life racer, so he does have that extra experience under his belt here, and he really understands sim racing and how a car should work, and that definitely attributes to his pace and racecraft here within Gran Turismo 7 platform, and I've also seen it on the ACC platform as well. He just seems to just figure it out very quickly. So he is he's a very consistent and efficient race car driver. He's very hard to beat, and he is definitely right now, the way things stand, the driver that is in the best position, I think, to win this race right now, unless something changes or happens throughout the races. He's already cleared all tire compounds and is only sitting 46 seconds behind 2 drivers that have yet to make 1 pit stop. He's going to gain 30 seconds on those 2 drivers alone on those 2 pit stops, plus the time he's going to make up for while those drivers are on the medium and hard racing tires, and he is on those racing soft tires. And now he just comes around as the fastest man on the racetrack there on lap number 11 with a 128.176 here as well. So not quite qualifying pace here yet in racing conditions, but we haven't seen too many of these drivers get on these soft racing tires yet, so these times are only going to continue to drop as these drivers lose a little bit of fuel weight and get these tires really scrubbed in. But Lucas, 7 3/4 of a second in behind Mr. SBS right now. Mr. SBS is doing a fantastic job at keeping that small gap in between himself and Lucas, and he needs all the gap he can get right now because he is carrying that half-second track limit penalty here, and that is going to potentially cost him 4th place here from Lucas 36 and behind. But Lucas is going to have to do a little bit of work here through the next couple of corners to tighten that gap up a little bit if Lucas wants to take advantage of that half-second track limit penalty. So Lucas is really going to have a clean 6, 7, and 8 here in order to take advantage of that half-second infraction of Helix up in front of him here. And he can see that. Lucas is aware that that driver has that half-second track limit penalty, and he pulls off the racing line here, which does give him the defensive line. And there was enough gap there where Lucas actually was not able to take advantage of it, and it's going to be side-by-side here into turn number 10. Heading into Red Bull Mobile, Lucas has the advantage on the outside. That was a great maneuver right there by Lucas 369. Mr. SBS did not make it easy on him there. He absolutely squeezed him right out to the edge of that racetrack to make that move happen, and Lucas pulls it off. So that was a great pass right there by Lucas on Mr. SBS, and that was one heck of a defense by Mr. SBS right there to try and hold the charge from Lucas off as well. So Lucas finds himself now up into 4th place with a very decisive pass on the outside there in turns 9 and 10. So Shredded Knight in 6th place. He's 3.5 seconds in behind Mr. SBS, and that little battle there was definitely good for these 3 drivers. It gave them a little bit of chance to grab a couple tenths of a second on him while they had that small little battle. The Stig in 7th place here. He's just ahead of Streeter Tom, 1.2 seconds here in 8th place, and Streeter Tom with a half-second track limit penalty here. And that is really going to be the story of some of the drivers' races this weekend, is penalties. Penalties are really going to destroy momentum around Red Bull Ring here, and the more you pick up, the more and more it's going to continue to weigh on the drivers in a frustration sense, and that's when the drivers start to make those simple little mistakes, and that is definitely not what the drivers want to be doing here today, is making those simple little mistakes, because when you're in divisions that are this tightly packed and this closely paced, those little mistakes cost positions. So PS Delino is just moving. He started on that soft tire compound, and he has just been flying. So we're going to see, I think, a similar strategy out of Delino that we've seen out of Drummer Driver in Division number 3, where it was a very late pit stop at the end of the race to take that last tire on. And it seems like we may be seeing a similar style strategy out of Delino, and finalized here in 2nd position as well. So it's Helix here in 3rd place, and it's 11 seconds of gap now to finalized and PS Delino. Now remember, this driver has made one pit stop, I believe, here already today. So the only 2 drivers owing any pit stops right now are our 1st and 2nd place drivers. So Lucas 369 has cleared his tire mandates. If he chooses not to stop the remainder of this race, he does not have to. He's got Mr. SBS in behind chasing here as well, and I believe this driver is in the same position, has already cleared both their tires. So Shredda here in 6th place. We've got the Stig closing in 7th place. So slowly but surely the Stig has been reeling Shredda Knight in here, and consistency really is important in these races. Even though these guys are absolutely very, very fast around the racetrack, the consistency still matters. A consistent racer has a better chance at winning a championship than an outright pace racer, because a consistent driver typically is going to make less mistakes because they're doing the same thing every lap on every corner, compared to the driver that is full sending their race car. When you're full sending, little mistakes get made, little line errors, little braking errors get made, and that does contribute to overdriving your car, losing time, and a few other things as well, wearing down your race car more so than your competitor behind who's taking it a little easier on the race car. It can really factor in at the end of the day. Yanis racing here in 9th place. It's 3.5 seconds off Streeter Tom, so no real closing distance happening there right now. It's just kind of a maintenance, maintaining that gap distance right now. Teasbap in 10th place, 1.6 seconds in behind Yanis racing. We got Bo here in 11th position, and we got Dino here in 12th place. So PS Delino, still our race leader. He's going to have a half-second track limit penalty there, and that's not going to hurt him too much here, as he's got a 17.7-second gap. So right now that penalty doesn't hurt him, but over the long run, too many of those penalties most certainly could hurt him. So our race leader is going to come in, make his first stop of the race here. Let's see what Finalized is going to do here as he comes around. He is on what seems to be a similar strategy as our race leader that just came into pit lane. He's going to choose to go around again, so he is going to assume the race lead here as Delino is in pit lane making a pit stop here, and Finalized comes across the line, does jump ahead here. We're just waiting to see when Delino gets released, and there we go. We can see Delino just coming out of pit lane here. So Finalized is going to take the race lead over here with that pit stop from Delino. Delino is going to come out just in behind Helix. So that was almost side by side there as he came out of pit lane. So he's going to find himself currently in third place now, chasing Helix here. And what we've seen Delino make some really big decisive passing moves here so far early on in this race. So I suspect he's got a few more bags in his passenger seat of tricks right now for the remainder of this race, because he's now come off that racing soft tire. He's on the racing hard tire compound right now, which means he's going to owe that racing medium here at some point throughout this race still. So Lucas 36 was 48 seconds in behind Delino when he made his second pit stop, which means he is on his final tire here for the race, and that was quite early. So first pit stop made there from Delino, and that is now down to 20.1 seconds and closing because of the tire compound difference. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out here for Delino as this race continues to draw closer to its end here. We've got Mr. SBS in 5th, we've got the Shredder Knight in 6th, and the Stig here in 7th. A great little nose-to-tail battle ensuing here between 6th and 7th place. We've got Delino coming into pit lane to make the final stop here right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that relates in relation to Lucas and Sir Shredder and Mr. SBS here now. Alright, so Shredder Knight and the Stig here, basically nose to tail, a car length separating these two here as they come through turn number 10. You can see Lucas and Shredder just up ahead here, so Lucas is going to get up into third place and jump ahead of PS Delino here as they come around the Niki Lauda curve. Now PS Delino was just coming out of pit lane there as these two drivers are coming around, and it looks like Delino is actually going to settle into 5th place in behind those two and just out in front of the Stig and Shredder Knight. So going to wait to see how this all breaks down here now. He is on newer tires than Lucas 36, but he is on different tire compound as well. So game on, here we go. Streeter Tom in 8th place. We've got Yanis Racing in 9th. My bad, keep missing the button there. That is a pretty shiny paint job on that car, but subtle. It's very collective. I like it. We've got Teasbap here coming from High Priest Sim Racing City as well, or is it Sim Race City, pardon me. Great group. I use High Priest graphics for a bunch of stuff here on my page as well, so I'd love to see the High Priest Sim Racing team up in here competing as well at a high level. We've got Bo Snipe here in 11th place, and we've got Dino here in 12th place as well. So lots of good racing happening here, and we are down one driver, Apex Ram GT, with some mechanical issues here on lap 11 and had to retire his racing car behind a pit wall today. But that's all right, that crew will get working on that race car and they will have it back up and running in round number 2 in 2 weeks' time. Alright, finalized, rocking and rolling, but has yet to make a pit stop. Still owes 2 pit stops. Helix still owing 1 pit stop here in 2nd place. 22nd lead over Lucas 369 and our labs, Mr. SBS. Both these drivers are done pit stops. They have cleared their tire mandates. Don't suspect we're going to see them stop again. So Shredda Knight here in 5th place. I believe he's in the same situation. The Stig in behind, I think, is still going to owe a pit stop at this point, unless he made one without me catching it or realizing it. We have him currently sitting in 6th place, and he's trying to put pressure on Shredda Knight, but now PS Delino, who has cleared all his tire mandates and now is at what I would assume to be on his final stop of the race, finds himself here in 7th place. In the middle of a 3-way battle for 5th place here between himself, the Stig, and Shredda Knight. Now again, Delino has made some very big, decisive racing moves here so far today, and I'm very curious to see what else he's got again in that bag of tricks of his here, as there has been some great passes made by this driver here so far early on in this race today. Got Streeter Tom here in 8th place. He's having a pretty solid race here for himself. We got Yanis Racing here in 9th place. We got Tease Bap in 10th position. We got Bo Snipe in 11th. We got Dino in 12th. And you know, I see the names. I see some of these names down in 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th place. And I'm used to seeing a lot of these guys up in 2nd, 3rd, 4th place fighting for wins in a lot of leagues. It just goes to show at how fast the driving community over here at Pure Racing League has become in this GT3 championship in a very short amount of time. So Helix has made his way around Finalized. Finalized also has a half-second track limit penalty, so it is kind of going from bad to worse here for Finalized. So Helix now, cool, calm, collected, hasn't really overdriven the car. He's just been sticking to his pace and his strategy, and he finds himself leading this race with 7 to go. Well, 6.5 essentially, I guess now. So Finalized here is on that soft tire, I believe. He's made a hard tire pit stop maybe early on in the race. Now that I think about it a little bit more, may only owe 1 pit stop here. So it's Lucas369 here in 3rd place. He's still got Mr. SBS in tow, and I mean, these two have just been driving nose to tail since they both made their final pit stops. They're not battling here, and this is smart race decision making by these two drivers. They are aware that battling is going to take potentially an opportunity for a better race finish here today away from them. So I think that these two are going to save their fight for the end of the race. The Stig here in 5th place, with Shredda Knight still chasing here in 6th place. So the Stig has found his way around Shredda Knight and grabbed a position here and moved himself up in the 5th. So Shredda finds himself now defending against PS Delino here, but the gap is about a second, so no immediate pressure here from Delino in behind. Streeter Tom from Race Asylum here, he's 3.3 seconds ahead of Yanis Racing. He's got about 2.2 seconds in behind Delino there, and it seems like every time we come and look at this driver, he's carrying a half-second track limit penalty. Him and the Nicky Lauder curve are not getting along today. Yanis Racing here in 9th position, and a penalty picked up for him, and that penalty was picked up out of turn number 3, so a little bit of a wide exit there coming from Yanis Racing there, and you hate to see it. Teasbap in 10th place, and that's good for him. That's just going to help him close that gap up that much more now, as of course the laps are winding down here in our race. 5 to go here as we have our race leader come across the start finish line. So start of lap 21, including this lap, is 5 to go. Finalized comes into pit lane, going to make a pit stop here. I believe we're going to see him come out on the medium tires. If we stop with a hard tire, it will be a medium tire stop here. He may have stopped very early in the race, I just don't remember. We got Mr. SBS has made his way around Lucas now and finds himself sitting in 2nd place. We got Lucas now sitting in 3rd position here as Finalized is coming out of pit lane in behind these guys. He is going to be fighting with the Stig here to try and hold on to a position, and the Stig is just going to leapfrog here as he comes around Nicky Lauda curve. So Finalized comes out in 5th place, and he's got Shredda Knight tucked right in behind here as well, and PS Delino falling off the pace a little bit here of these guys up in front of them. And again, tire compounds are definitely the difference here at the end of this race right now. We have the majority of the field ending this race on those racing soft tires, and we have a couple of our drivers ending this race off on what looks to be the medium racing tire here. So that in itself could be a big game changer here for some of the racers. So we have Helix here. He is still in first place, and I am fairly certain he owes a medium tire stop yet, but I could be wrong on that. It's hard to keep track of 13 drivers while live broadcasting. We got Mr. SBS here in second place. We got Lucas 369 here in third place, and Mr. SBS in good shape potentially for a race win here now as well. So these two drivers, our second and third place drivers, are the drivers we really need to be watching for here. I think at the end of this race we've got the Stig, and the Stig is closing quickly, 3.5 seconds. He has been making up some distance on this racetrack since that final pit stop. So Shredder Knight here now up into fifth place, got finalized here in sixth position. He's got Delino very quickly closing in here in the seventh position in behind. So coming into the Niki Lauda curve, turn number one here at Red Bull Ring, that gap is about half a second here between sixth and seventh place right now. Streeter Tom here in eighth place. And just a series of penalties here for this driver. I think he'd be up in the top five if it wasn't for all the track infractions that driver has had today here, mainly going through turn number one. We got Yanis here in ninth position, and Teesbap is in 10th here. So this is a good little battle brewing there. We had a small little lag spike right there between the two drivers as well, but no harm, no foul. It looks like we got Bo Snipe here in 11th and Dino in 12th place. So it is Helix here, and right now 21 second gap. It looks like it's going to be a last lap pit stop for that driver here, I think, to take that final tire compound. And we've seen the Division 3 do that, and it didn't work out for that Division 3 driver. So we'll see if it's the same thing here in Division 2. That last lap hard tire strategy has not seemed to be the OP strategy here today in this particular race. The Stig in fourth place. We got Sashreda here in fifth. The gap there is 1.6 seconds between fourth and fifth place, and I mean third to seventh place essentially is only really separated by about 4.5-5 seconds right now. They can all see each other here on this straightaway. Finalized in sixth. PS Delino right in behind here in seventh. Streeter Tom chasing and closing here in eighth place. It was 3.3, is now down to 2.9. I got Yanis closing in here in 2.1 seconds and behind. And again, Teesbap tucked still just in underneath Yanis racing here in 10th position. Bo Snipe at 11th and Dino here in 12th place. All right, so it is Helix here with our race lead, and he is in control right now. But again, I believe he still owes stops, so Mr. SBS and Lucas 369 are two drivers that do not need to stop again here in this race, and pretty much the rest of the field at this point do not need to stop at this race. I believe Helix is our only driver remaining with a pit stop that's left to be done here, but again, we had a lot of early pit stops. About a half dozen drivers jumped into pit lane right at the end of lap 1-2 there, so he may have been one of those drivers that made those initial pit stops, and I just could be not calculating that into the tire mandates here in my head. Half-second track limit penalty there for Helix as well. So Mr. SBS is coming around. We got Lucas 369 here in third place, and it's about 3/4 of a second behind. The Stig is trying to close, 3.4 seconds. So Shredder Knight is in fifth place, and it's 1.8 seconds separating him from fourth place. He's opened up the gap to PS Delino here. Maybe a mistake made by Delino, as he was tucked right in behind. So Shredder, and now he is 3.2 seconds in behind, and finalized is now applying the pressure here, half a second in behind Delino here as well. So Streeter Tom here 1.9 seconds in behind those two in eighth place. He's got 2.7 seconds over Yanis Racing in ninth place, and Teesbap, who is he going to take a look here into turn number 3? He is. Teesbap up the inside here. This is side-by-side action here, and a huge slide again from Yanis, trying to get the power down in that car, and that slide ultimately cost him that ninth place position on Teesbap there, as Teesbap got the power down a lot more efficiently on the inside line and got the job done. Alright, so I was correct on my assumption here. We have one tire remaining for Helix. A little bit of a dicey pit entry there as well, as he caught that inside grass and almost spun that car sideways in pit entry. Don't want to do that. That is not going to be a good day of racing for you if you do that. So it is now Mr. SBS and Lucas369 coming around here, looking to grab that position from Helix as they come around. And this is now officially going to become a one-lap battle here for our race winner today, and it looks like it's going to be potentially a three-way battle here. Where is Helix going to come out here? He comes out in between Mr. SBS and Lucas. He's right beside Lucas369. This is a drag race heading in to turn number 3 here. Different tire compounds as well, but you can see Lucas on some very worn out racing soft tires there, and oh boy, first, second, and third place separated by a second right now, and well, we ain't leaving. We're sitting right here through the remainder of this lap to see if anything is going to change between these three drivers. Helix has 0.8 of a second over Lucas. Lucas has 0.3 of a second over Helix. Sorry, Mr. SBS in the lead of this race, not Helix's teammate up at front there. And Lucas with a little bit of a wiggle there coming out of the corner, and Helix is definitely applying the pressure here on those cold racing hard tires. So bold strategy there from our lab's Helix, and in all honesty could pay off here. You could get a podium position still out of this deal. So it is Mr. SBS here, and he is holding that 0.8 of a second gap over Lucas. Lucas is holding that gap over Helix here, and we're coming down to 2 corners to go here. We got Rhinton, we got Red Bull Mobile, turns 9 and 10 here for Division 2, and we are going to see a checkered flag here, and it is going to be our lab's Mr. SBS to take our round 2 season 1 opener from Division 2. Lucas in second place, and Helix very close, 1.7 seconds separating first and third place. Is Stig in fourth. So Shredder coming home in 5th place. It's going to be PS Delino in 6th. It's going to be Streeter Tom coming across in 7th. It is Teasbap here in 8th position. Gotta go with the camera guy again. Yanis in 9th place. It's going to be Dino picking up 10th place position here on the racetrack as well. As he comes around, it's going to be Bo Snipe coming around here to pick up an 11th place spot here on the racetrack, and Finalize is going to come around here and pick up a 12th place position, having to make a last lap pit stop there as well. And of course, Ram Apex GT unfortunately having mechanical failure on lap 11 here in the race and unable to finish his race here today. So congratulations to our labs Mr. SBS for an absolutely great race victory right there. It's going to be Lucas369 in second, and Mr. SBS is with the fastest lap at 28.030 as well. It's going to be our labs Helix in third, our lab the Stig in fourth. It's going to be Sir Shredda Knight in fifth, Delino in sixth. It's going to be Streeter Tom in seventh, Tease Bap in 8th place. Yanis Racing will take over in 9th place there. Our lab Dino with a top 10 finish here in round number 1. Both Snipe will bring it home in 11th. Finalized will bring it across in 12th place. And again, Ram Apex GT retiring early here in race on lap number 11. You hate to see it. I've got the replay, Teasbap. It's all good. If you guys need it, I've got it. No worries. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there we have it. That was our Division 2 race. Now, I'm not even messing around. Now is most certainly the time, ladies and gentlemen. Hit those restrooms. Definitely refresh those bevies. Get those snack bowls filled up, and get your most comfortable favorite spot in the house ready to go, because Div 1 comes next in about 15 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen. So let's recap our Division 2 race real quick here, and then we will move over into a B-rate back screen. So that was an absolute great race here by Division 2, and the strategies were not too varying from Division 3. The only difference is the pace of the lobby was a little bit quicker. So very, very close division here, and as these drivers get more comfortable racing around each other and in these racing cars, we are going to see some incredible races come from Division 2. So GG's to the drivers. I mean, wow, that was some good running there. It's Mr. SBS with the race win. It's going to be Lucas369 in second position, and Helix going to hold it out there in third place on the Hamilton strategy, as I like to call it, starting on the soft tire, going to the medium and hard tire at the end of the race, where the majority of the field started on the hards, went to the mediums and softs. So That's some great racing right there from our second division, and that leaves us with our elite division here, our Division 1 lineup. And boy, oh boy, we have a lineup. All right, we are just checking in here on Oh, yeah, we were missing a driver. All right. All right, we're just checking in, make sure we're not missing any related information from race control. Just doing some due diligence here on our part. So what we'll do is, now that I've kind of have an idea on what we're looking at for time frames and all that stuff in between our races here, we will definitely have our podium interviews back for our next racing round from Pure Racing League, which means next weekend. Now, next weekend obviously is slightly different because it's a one division series. It's a different series, but nonetheless, we will have our podium interviews back here through the broadcast starting next weekend as well. So just needed to see what the timing was in between all our races here. And now that we got that all sorted out, we should be good to go. So I'm going to jump into our next lobby, which I believe is being hosted by Cantilever. And get ready for race number 3 on our day. All right, so we're just going to let these guys get piled in here. I'm going to flip you over to a be right back screen here for a moment as the commentator needs to run to the little boys' room here as well. So we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we are back. Thank you for everybody's patience in the matter. And it looks like our grid is just filling up here for our Division 1 guys. And I hope we're ready for the fastest race we all may ever see around Red Bull Ring in a Group 3 Lexus. GG's drivers, action on track has been excellent, says Chris Reeves up in the Facebook chat. Absolutely, hasn't it? It's been really great battling here today. Division 2, very closely paced. I don't even know what to expect in Division 1. We are going to see all the gloves off and no holds barred door-to-door fighting, I think, here from our top division. All right, we're just settling back into our spot here. There we go. All right. Get that mic nice and tight here. Whew. All right, so we'll most certainly have interviews here for everybody again, moving into future rounds here. My mistake. I should have been a little more on the ball with that, I guess. But that's all right. We have a very, very long list of accolades in this lobby, too, I tell you what. So we will do the best we can to try and get as much information about each of these drivers on the track here to you guys and gals watching at home today. The large majority of this racing field in Division 1 is current competing Gran Turismo 7 World Tour drivers and also Gran Turismo 7 World Tour driving champions in this field here in Division 1. So we honestly are in for a pretty big treat here as a sim racing community. No joke. We are getting 10 weeks worth of free Gran Turismo World Tour caliber event racing right here in our own big screens. Absolutely fantastic. So, you know, if you enjoy the Gran Turismo World Tour live event races, this is basically what we have ready in front of us here right now, about to happen in just a few minutes' time. Truly, genuinely blessed and honored to be a part of this. And, you know, as a broadcaster, it would be massive to be standing on the world stage with all the best of the best in Gran Turismo racing and live broadcasting those guys while they're on their World Tour events. And maybe in time that could happen. Maybe you never know. Anything's possible. But they got a great broadcasting crew there. So this is essentially the next best thing for someone in my position as a broadcaster, in my opinion. So really appreciate the Pure Racing League for the opportunity, and I cannot wait. This is going to be a doozy. Winter Circle community, sim racing community, hold on to your hats, man, because these guys are going to be moving so fast. The wind from your TV speakers are going to blow your hats off. So hold on to them, puppies. Ooh, that sounds good. That sounds good. Got some food going on, some pork loin and some chicken breasts. Excellent. All right, I'm gonna go take a little sneak peek at what is happening here on our racetrack right now in free practice. And see what I see. Yes, 14 of our 15 drivers are on track here right now. This this is going to be interesting. We got a couple of pretty good liveries out here on the racetrack as well, so you guys will get to see soon enough. Soon enough. But yeah, there's some good looking stuff out there on the racetrack right now. As you can hear, the cars driving around. I know, right? Just teasing you. All right, so for one last time here at Red Bull Ring, we are going to send off our Division 1 race to start off our official Season 2 here for Division 1. We had great races in Division 3 and Division 2. If you missed the Division 3 or the Division 2 race, just sit tight till after the end of the broadcast here on Facebook, and that will go up on the channel, obviously, as a recording from there, and you'll be able to freely scan through to the races and the parts of the races that you want to watch as per recording. If you are on YouTube, you should be able to live rewind and catch up on some of the races if you choose to do so. I think the viewers are going to enjoy deliveries from a couple of these drivers. They're quite good, quite good, quite good. All right, we got a 3-minute warning coming from race control here to start our proceedings here for for division number 1, round number 1, season 2 here. So for those of us that are returning viewers, remember season 1, we had the McLaren 650S out on the racetrack for that season. It was a one-make season as well, much like this season is. We had 2 full divisions of racers. Was it 3? Might have been 3 full divisions. I don't even remember now. It wasn't even that long ago. But we definitely had 2 very full divisions for sure. I can't remember if it was the third or not, but nonetheless, lots of great racing from our McLaren 650 series. So at the end of that season, what ended up happening is, of course, a vote went up in the Discord chat for the driving community that's involved over there, and they all had a vote on what the next season's car would be, and due to driver selection, ended up being the 2017 Group 3 Lexus RCF. Now, great car, in my opinion. I've never driven the car up until the championship was released, and then I decided to jump in the car and kind of, see how it feels, see what the driving competitive field is up against, and it's actually a really fun car to drive. So I feel like it was a really great car pick for this season, and the season has just stepped up in competition from season 1 as well. I would say that the difficulty factor, as far as the skill level of our racers this season, has doubled. I would say it has doubled. Just an incredible driving field this season, and well, you're all about to see it. We are going to break down a pretty crazy lineup here in just a few minutes time for everybody. So we're going to do a quick check on our streams here while we have a moment as well. Make sure everything's still moving and grooving properly. A little bit of an audio faux pas I see on Facebook there. It was 3 divs from McLaren. Yeah, you're right. I couldn't remember for some reason. Appreciate it, Steve. For some reason, I had a hard time. I remember if it was 2 or 3. It's just I work for so many leagues, I get them confused sometimes. Times are quick, chat. The times in this free practice are very fast. Let me tell you, wow. I most certainly probably will never hit a lap that fast around this racetrack in this car. Incredible. These drivers really are incredible. Wow. You know what? We are always ready. All right, so things are a little bit different here for Division One as well, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see a shorter qualifying run to start with. It's going to be a 5-minute qualifying as opposed to our 10-minute qualifying from Division 2 and 3. Essentially, set up to be a one hot lap qualifier. Basically, is the idea behind it. Now, last season we did do the one shot hot lap qualifying. This season we're just giving the drivers 5 minutes. So basically, 1 or 2 laps these guys will get, and that'll be it for qualifying for these drivers, and we'll set that grid and send the fastest race around Red Bull Ring we're probably ever going to see here at GT45 Gaming. All right, there we go. Drivers are on the way. Let's get you over to the big screen. Get some game sound fired up here. Gotta hear the cars. All right, let's bring a lineup in, chat. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? All right. Let's let the live timing sort our driver field out here. All right, so let's start with our first driver on track here in qualifying. It is SV's Rush Racing, our first driver out on track. He's going to be followed out by Calvin Roach, who's going to be followed out by Prima Quartz. From there, it's going to be Distinct Darkrai. It's going to be Robbie Heck, 5th out on track. He is very closely followed by ERA's Jakey. H Racing Green 91 here in 7th on track here in qualifying. Tyranno Cyrus Rex on the grid here in 8th place. The Wurtsy 9th out on track here in qualifying. We've got SV's Cantilever 10th out on track here in qualifying today. We've got KRK's Cayman 74 out on track here in 11th. We got Mr. Elf out on track in 12th place. We've got ERM's Meaty here out on track in 13th, and teammates ERM Jos sitting in 14th position here on track. We are missing one of our drivers here today, essentially 2, as Prima Quartz is coming in as a substitute driver here today. So that is our 14 driver lineup here in Division 1. We'll talk a little bit more about these drivers throughout the broadcast, and we'll give you guys a little bit more information about what these drivers have accomplished in Gran Turismo 7 in their sim racing careers here so far in Gran Turismo's esports history as well. So compliments of Pure Racing League. It really came down with some great driver bios for this division, and we will do our best to try and get all that information to everybody here as the race progresses. But right now it's all about qualifying, and it's only a 5-minute qualifying, so this is going to be quick. We've seen about a second a lap faster times in free practice here compared to division number 2, and 2 seconds faster essentially than division number 3. So this lobby is going to be crazy fast. So it is Rush Racing for the first official hot lap, and it's a 27.245, but he did have that penalty there, so it's going to be a penalty here for Roach as well, and that is going to nil and void that lap. It's also a penalty for Quartz, so it's going to be Robbie looking like he's going to take pole position. It's going to be Jakey in second. It's going to be Green in third, now moving down to 4th, and all these drivers are coming through so close together. Cantilever's going to jump up into 5th. Mr. Elf coming through for the first time. He is going to move up into 4th place. We got Meaty coming through. Are we seeing pole position? Yes, we are seeing pole position, ladies and gentlemen. Not surprised. DRM Joes comes in 3rd place here on our first hot lap. So we're going to see one more, maybe 2 hot laps from the front end of our pack here. So not so good for our drivers up front here. Wurtsy, Cayman, Quartz, Callan, Rush Racing, all having track limit penalties as they came through on that first lap, and that is not an ideal situation. Half-second track limit penalty here tacked on for Rush Racing. That means he has to serve this penalty this lap, going to affect his qualifying lap for sure. But we're going to stick with him here and see what he puts down, as he is, again, our first driver out at qualifying here, and he may, just may, get across the start-finish line with enough opportunity to try and get one more lap in here and salvage what has not been a great qualifying here for him so far. It's just penalty plagued. All right, so let's see if he what he's got here. It's still a great lap, even with the penalty there. It's a 28.3. It's actually good enough for 9th place. Callan Roach is going to move up into 6th on that lap. Quartz is going to move up into, I believe that was 8th place, 9th place there as well. We're going to stick with Wordsey here as he's coming around. And I believe, where's Mr. Darkray? Alright, so let's keep going here. It is still Meaty in pole position. It's a 27 flat. 127.034. Robbie Heck sitting in second position here with a 127.162. We've got Jose in 3rd place here, and I think that's it. I don't think he's got another flyer here. We got Tyrannosaurus, and I'm not sure who that is there. They're just chilling. We got Jakey coming around here. He's currently sitting in 5th with a 127.8. We got Mr. Alf currently sitting in 6th. These guys are all still on flying laps here as well. Blair coming in with that thumbs up on the stream. Welcome in, my dude. All right, so here we go. Let's stick with Mr. Alf as he's coming through. I believe that's Rush Racing just up there too as well. Just ahead of him here. And when you're at the caliber and the level of pace that these drivers are at, the penalties are a normal, common thing, I think, for these drivers. They're very, very used to absolutely pushing every single limit of these racetracks. So Callan coming in with a 3rd place time. Quartz coming in there too as well, improving on his time. Jake comes in and improves his time to a 127.6, and that's only going to be good enough for 9th place. A 127.4 there from another one there as well. Mr. Elf comes through. He does not find that improvement. Don't see an improvement from the driver that just came through there either. Joe's comes through, and yes, he is going to set a better time there, a 127.3 as he comes through. So it is still Meaty here in pole position. It's going to be Robbie in 2nd place. It's going to be Joe's in 3rd. It's going to be Callan in 4th place. It's going to be Cayman in 5th. It's going to be Cyrus here in 6th position. Prima Quartz here in 7th position. And man, that qualifying ended quickly. So let's go hit our qualifying result window here. And those are some fast times. We have Tyrannosaurus Rex in 6th, Quartz in 7th, SV Rush Racing in 8th. It's going to be Jakey in 9th position. It's going to be Mr. Elf in 10th. It's going to be Racing Green in 11th, Cantilever in 12th. Pardon me. Distinct Darkrai in 13th, and the Wordsey in 14th position. And missing one driver here on the track today. So there we have it. That is our qualifying group, and wow, qualifying separated from 1st to 14th place is 3 seconds, because Wordsey didn't have a great lap there, but if it wasn't for just the one driver there, we're talking 1.15 seconds separating this whole field. Whew. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be Division 1 showdown here, and you guys seen the lineup. We'll talk about each of the drivers here as we go around the race, but let's talk about our pole sitter. Let's talk about Yareem's Meaty. I mean, not surprised to see this man on pole position. He has been driving at the absolute peak performance here over the last few months, if not a couple of years of his sim racing career. So it's Meaty Afidi. His nickname obviously is Mahidi. He is a French driver. He is on Team Euromaster Esports. He is the GT World Series 2024 manufacturer champion with Team Nissan. He's also a GT World Series finalist since the online finals started in 2021. He's never missed a live event. Team Nissan has been driving since 2021. He's been competing professionally in esports sim racing since 2019, and he is our Season 1 PRL overall GT3 champion. So there is just a little bit of information about our pole sitter, ERM's Meaty. And he is absolutely right now on the top of his game and has been for quite some time. He is defending champion, and he is the guy with the target on his back this season as well. Payme is in Division 2. He missed the race today. I'm not sure. There was a miscommunication in time, I think it was, so he just missed today. He's in Division 2. He qualified right at the top of Div 2. All right, ladies and gentlemen, race control has our drivers lined up, and the fastest race you're ever going to see in a Group 3 Lexus on Red Bull Ring here in GT7 happens right here, right now, live in your living rooms. Ladies and gentlemen, kick them tires, light them fires. Let's go racing World Tour style, baby. And we are waiting for a green, and we are green, and we are off, and it is Meaty to stay everybody off here. And look how quickly these guys settle into single file here. These guys are the best of the best, the most experienced drivers in the game, and they're about to show us why. Robbie in second, Joes in third, Cayman in fourth, Callan here in fifth place, Cyrus in sixth position. We got Rush in seventh, we got Quartz in eighth, Jakey and Mr. Elf side by side battling, and we're going to go three wide heading into Remus for the first time here on these cold racing tires. And look at that, great stuff by all those drivers. A nose stuck in between those two cars, and everybody makes it. Quartz holds on to eighth place. Jakey's going to settle down into ninth position. Cantilever tried to split the uprights there, but had no room. Has to settle back into 10th place, but he does grab that position on Mr. Elf, and it is side by side racing here as we head into turn number 4. And Green looking to grab a spot here on Elf as well, and now Distinct Darkrai looking to take advantage, but that battle still happening in front of him side by side here between Green and Cantilever now. Oh, Cantilever's up ahead. My bad. Cantilever has gotten away from that. Mr. Elf here now finds himself in 11th. Darkrai down into 12th place, and Racing Green here in 13th. All right, let's get back up front here. All right, we got Meaty here in the race lead, and again, this guy's on the top of his game. He is the one with the target on his back here this season without a question of a doubt. We got Robbie Heck very close in behind here. That gap is currently 0.3 of a second. We got Jose in third place, and already drivers making pit stops. Came in here in fourth place, and this is side-by-side action right here between Cayman and Cyrus here, and ooh, great battling right there. Cayman is just gonna hold out here and hold that position off on Tyrannosaurus Rex, and that was very good battling right there. Just didn't quite have the run out of the inside corner there, did Cyrus, and he's just gonna have to sit back and wait for another opportunity to attack here. We got Quartz currently sitting in 6th place with Jakey tucked right in behind, and Cantilever settled right in behind him. So nose to tail here from 6th to 8th place as well very early on in the race. And our pit stoppers here, Roach, Rush Racing, Mr. Elf, 9th, 10th, and 11th place here. These guys have all made those pit stops very early on. Racing Green, Darkrai, and the Wordsea. So half our field on that early pit stop strategy, much like we've seen in Division 2 and Division 3. Let's see what happens here now for the back half of the pack. This is a whole different beast. This is a whole different lobby. This is a treat. This is a treat. This is fun. Meaty here in the race lead and showing why he is one of the best in the business right now, and defending 2024 Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Champion for Team Nissan. So not in his car that he's used to running, but that don't mean nothing for these guys. You can throw these guys in any car in this game, and they will show you how to drive it faster than you could ever imagine. Robbie very close behind, half a second tucked in behind right now, maintaining that pace. Teammate Jules here in 3rd place from our race leader. He's got 2 seconds right now on our front too, but Cyrus making quick moves here. He's now up into 4th place, has managed to get his way around Cayman. So Cayman now finds himself chasing here in 5th place, and Prima Quartz starting to close in here as well in 6th position. So it is ERA's Jakey here in 7th, and he's just slightly lost touch with those two, but he's still in the slipstream. So there is lots of passing opportunities still to happen here. We got Cantilever coming around there, and he's going to pick pick up a half second there. That is unfortunate, and that is going to come from most likely turn 1 there. Callan here in 9th place, and 19 seconds is the gap now from the pit stop drivers to the drivers that have yet to stop. We got Rush Racing closing in here in 10th place up in behind. We've got Mr. Alf here as well. He's moving and cruising. Love that Owl's decal on the side of the car. Actually, that's quite sweet. We got Distinct's Darkrai here. And we know this driver is very quick as well. Every one of these drivers are insanely fast. We got Racing Green here. This is side by side battling here right now with the Distinct driver. And Darkrai does have the inside position here coming into turn number 4, and that is the optimal line coming through there. But a mistake on the exit. It's going to cost him a run there. And oh, look at Racing Green. He's going to take a look up the inside now coming into turn number 7 and 8. And no, he can't get it done. Darkrai is going to close it off, and no room for you, good sir. You can just sit in behind and try again. So Darkrai doing a great job here so far, defending off the charge of Racing Green here in 13th position. But Wurtzy now is on the back end of this pack, and this is very quickly turning into a 3-way battle here for 12th, 13th, and 14th position here on the racetrack. And I think that we're going to see hot battles all up and down this division here all season long. Let's go see what's happening up in the front half of this pack here right now. We've got Meaty doing what he does, leading the charge here. 6/10 of a second right now is that gap. Robbie sitting in 2nd place, and he is pushing here as well. He's really working hard at not letting Meaty get away from him here. We got Jose 2.8 seconds in behind those front two. So Rob and Meaty have kind of checked out a little bit from the rest of the pack. Now, 2 seconds isn't much of a gap in sim racing terms, but when you're on the level of driving that these racers are on, that 2-second gap is a large gap. So right now Jose has a little bit of work to do. Cyrus here 1.6 seconds in behind in 4th place. He is working on trying to close in our 3rd place driver, and of course open up the gap on Quartz to relieve a little bit of that pressure from in behind him here. And Quartz is moving and grooving. French Canadian driver here, very, very fast driver, and well, any one of these drivers can win these races, so it is really anybody's game. We've got ERA Jakey here in 6th place, and he is moving and grooving. And when it comes to the best of the Winter Circle community, this is it. Jakey is the man here. So out here representing in the top lobby here, and doing pretty good right now in the mid pack. We've got Cantilever here in 7th place. We've got Cayman now coming in for his pit stop here. We've got Callan coming around. It's going to be 9th and 10th with Rush Racing just in behind. They should grab that position from Cayman as they come around the racetrack here and start lap number 5. And fastest man on the track, no surprise, is ERM's Meaty. He's at 128.2 right now, and I'm sure that we'll see that time come down even more yet throughout this race. We got Mr. Alf in 11th place, Darkrai here in 12th. We've got Racing Green in 13th, and Wurtzy in 14th position. So right now it is Robbie and ERM's Meaty leading the pace of this race. They are ahead. They're nose to tail, basically half a second separating the two drivers here right now. And a little bit of love here coming from our world champion here as well in our lead of this race. We got some pictures of the boys from the world tour circuit all over that car. So it's a great livery. I actually love that livery. It's fantastic. A little bit of love there to that professional community they're a part of. Robbie here, not in the typical SV livery I would have expected to see him be in here, but doing a nice clean livery here, and he is working right now to keep up with media. He's doing a fantastic job up there in 2nd place. Joe's here, 3.3 seconds, and that gap continues to slowly open up over our top 2 drivers here. Cyrus is doing a great job here in 4th place. He's got 2 seconds in behind our 3rd place driver, but right now he's got Prima Quartz starting to really close in on him here, and a potential battle starting to brew between our 4th and 5th place driver Cyrus and Quartz. So Jakey now, he's just off in the distance and behind these guys, just on the edge of the slipstream now, waiting to see if these two are going to battle, but it doesn't look like there's any battle happening. And again, the pace is so close in these lobbies. It's actually really hard to gain that little bit of time back on to the next driver ahead. And unfortunately for Jakey, he's got a penalty there, and that is going to slow down his charge on that pack of cars up in front of him. We got Cantilever here. He's in 7th place, coming from Street Version. He is rocking and rolling right now. We've got Callan here in 8th, and he's got Rush in 9th place and behind. So came in after that pit stop, has dropped down into 10th position here. But lots of drivers need to make pit stops here yet in this race. So we've seen half the field, like I said, dip in super early. I'm assuming starting on that hard tire, probably jumping off that hard tire to get into a medium or soft tire compound at that point. We've seen it through all the divisions here today. The hard and medium tire not really being overly used too much here today. Darkrai as well in 12th place with a half-second track limit infraction. That's going to hurt the charge up towards Mr. Elf there as well. Racing Green 2.9 seconds in behind. He's got the track limit penalty going on here as well, so advantage goes to Wurtzy here on this one. So you see the penalties being served there. Wurtzy's going to get the pass done on Racing Green there on the outside into turn number 9, and leading into turn number 10 now has about a 0.6 of a second gap there, as well as with penalty served, just momentum lost here at Gran Turismo no matter where it is, and especially here at Red Bull Ring going uphill on one of the very few straights you have to take advantage of power in these racing cars. So nose to tail here is Meaty and Rob Heck here right now, and we got ourselves a great little fight here in first and second place right now between these two drivers. So while we're on it, let's talk a little bit about our second place driver here as well. Obviously name Robbie Heck. Robbie Heck is on screen. He's Robert Heck is his real name. His nickname is Robbie Heck. He is an American from US of A for nationality. He is team says TBA here actually on the driver bio. He is a GTWS 2023 Team Mazda. The 2023 Porsche Esports Challenge USA runner-up as well, second place finisher. He is Team USA in the 2022 GT World Series, and also a TGR Gazoo Racing finalist in 2022 as well. He is a Porsche Esports Challenge finalist, 4th place in 2022. He was Team Peugeot in the 2021 GT World Series events and has been competing professionally since 2019. So a little bit of information about Rob Heck here and some of his accolades as well in his sim racing career here as a Gran Turismo 7 professional racer. Alright, so it is still Meaty, and now he is free and clear in the lead here. The next closest competitor is his teammate Jos, and that is a 5-second gap separating the two cars here. Prima Course now moves up into 3rd place with that pit stop from Rob, and he is 2.3 seconds in behind the second place driver Jos. Now, Jakey is up in P4 here, and he's got 1.3 seconds in behind Quartz, and he's got a nice 4.6 second gap over Cantilever. We got Rob here now in 6th place after his first pit stop here. We've got Cayman in 7th position. We've got Cyrus here in 8th. We've got Darkrai, Mr. Distinct Darkrai that is, in 9th position. We've got the Wurtzy here in 10th. We've got Racing Green in 11th place. We've got Callan here in 12th position. We've got Rush Racing here in 13th. And we've got Mr. Elf here in 14th position. So some of these drivers that we see in the grid here today have just made eligibility age for the Gran Turismo World Series as well. So some of these drivers in the field today are most certainly good enough and fast enough to be there, but due to not meeting age requirements, they have been unable to go and compete on that live stage. So now a couple of these drivers now meet those age requirements that the Gran Turismo 7 has in place for the online qualifier for the Gran Turismo World Series events. So we'll be seeing a couple of these drivers now standing on the world stage, I'm sure, here in future Gran Turismo World events as well. Joe's here in 2nd place. Meaty is checked out right now. Just in clean air, no pressure now, can really focus on trying to put in some quality laps before he decides to make his first pit stops. Of course, here was a 1-second penalty, and that's definitely going to hurt the charge to Joe's in 2nd place, and that's going to help Cantilever a little bit here as well. Gain a little bit of time up on him. Came in now up into 5th place. Jakey has made a pit stop here. He's in 6th. We've got Darkrai here in 7th place. He's 3.6 seconds in behind ERA's Jakey right now. We've got the Wurtzy here in 8th place. We've got Rob Heck here in 9th position. We've got Callan in 10th place. We've got SV Rush Racing here in 11th position. We've got Cyrus here in 12th. We've got Mr. Elf here in 13th, and Racing Green in 14th position here. All right, so our race leader now coming in for his first pit stop of the race, and he is going to be followed in by Jose and Quartz as well. So our top 3 drivers have opted to come into pit lane, so that is now going to give SV Cantilever the race lead here as he comes around on lap number 10. So we're almost halfway through this race already, and these guys are flying. Smitty's coming out of pit lane here right now. He had a pretty decent gap over the field, so he is going to slot himself right back out in second place. Jose's teammate's going to come out, and it's going to be close between him and Cayman, and he's going to come out just ahead of Cayman here right now in third place. So Cayman finds himself 2 seconds down the road in behind Jose. Quartz is now in fifth place. Jakey's still sitting in pit lane. We've got Distinct Darkrai there. We've got the Wordsy there as well. So Cyrus is going to come around with Mr. Elf. They're going to grab positions, about 4 of them there, and that's going to move Cyrus up into 10th place, but it looks like Jakey is going to come out just ahead. No, it is going to be Cyrus to beat Jakey out of pit lane there. Jakey's going to come back out in 11th position. Darkrai is going to come out right in behind him. Wartsy in behind those 2, and Racing Green is going to come around the corner here and be right on the back bumper of Wartsy, basically. So got a big pack there in the back half of this racing field right now, and it should potentially produce some battles, but different tire compounds, different race strategies here from these drivers. Again, you know, the last 10 minutes of this race, the last 15 minutes of this race is really where the hard action is going to be at. So Cantilever coming into pit lane, that's going to leave Meaty coming around, and he is going to take over the race lead here as he comes back around from Cantilever. So quick pit stop there from our world champion here, and he's going to take over that race lead from our second place driver, Cantilever now. Jose is going to come around. He's most likely going to take that position over as well as he comes through, and that is definitely the case here. We've got Cayman coming through there in third place, and Quartz now coming through. So Cantilever is just getting into his pit box here. So that's going to be Rob coming around here now, and that'll be a 6th place here for Rob. So Rob, I believe, has now settled all his pit stops out here as well, and currently the fastest man on the racetrack, 127.599. That leaves Callan and Rush Racing in 7th and 8th place here, and they've been pretty close together here for the large part of this race, these 2 drivers. That leaves Cyrus here in 9th place. We have Mr. Elf chasing in 10th, and ERA Jakey just tucked in behind those 2 in 11th place there as well, so a little 3-car pack happening here. We got Distinct Darkrai about 4 seconds in behind that group, and Racing Green starting to close in on him in 14th position here. So it has been some fast racing here already. I mean, we're almost halfway through this race already. These guys are flying around this racetrack right now, and Meaty now on a purple sector here as he comes around the S's and heading in towards turn number 9 right. We're going to see if he can hold that purple sector and take that away from Rob. So I have to verify if there's points for fastest laps and pole positions here this season, but we'll get all that information, and we'll make sure we have all that for everybody next week's round, so we can all be in the full loop of what's happening here. And it is at 127.579, just nips it from Rob there, and it's going to be Joe's coming through. He's still in second place, 2.5 seconds over KRK's Cayman here. Quartz is just right there, 1.7 seconds in behind, and again with a 1 second penalty there, so having some penalty issues here on the racetrack today is Quartz. We've got Cantilever here in 5th place. We got Rob chasing in 6th position. We got Callan here in 7th place as well. We've got Rush Racing here in 8th. We've got Tyrannosaurus Rex here in 9th position, and this man is a legend himself over there. I believe it was Twitch or YouTube. It might be both. I can't remember. I know too many people. Mr. Elf here in 10th place. We got Jakey here in 11th. We got Darkrai here in 12th. We got Wurtsy in 13th. And Racing Green here in 14th. I believe he's YouTube, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember. I can't remember, chat. All right, so let's talk about our second place driver a little bit here. Let's give you guys a little bit of information about our other ERM driver, Joe's here. Name is Jay Legren. His nickname is Jose with a hard J. He is a Belgium driver. He also races for Euromaster Esports with teammate Meaty there. He is the GTWS 2022 Team Mitsubishi driver. He has been competing professionally since 2021, and this is his debut season here in PRL this season as well. So welcome into ERM Jose. And he's looking fast. Looking very fast out there today, isn't he, chat? So came in here in third place, and just a big enough gap right now between all these drivers. They can't really get close enough to battle. So the pit stop sequences have definitely filtered these guys out a little bit. And I would assume that the final set of pit stop sequences will start to bundle these guys back up a little bit here as well. So we got Callan catching up to Rush Racing here now. Rush Racing, pardon me, catching up to Callan, as these two have been close together here for a large part of this race, and right now separated by just a little less than a second. So it is, again, very hard to make up time on each other in a competitive driving division like this one when everybody is pretty much at the same pace already. It makes it very difficult to make up that time. So we got Cyrus and Mr. Elf here, 9th and 10th. This is nose-to-tail driving here between these two drivers, and they got about 5 seconds to the group up in front. Now Jakey from ERA here is just in behind in 10th place, or 11th place, pardon me, chasing. He's got about 1 second, and again carrying another half second track limit penalty there, and penalties seem to be the story of the day here at Red Bull Ring. It's Distinct Darkrai here in 12th place. We got Wertzy in 13th, and Racing Green here in 14th position. So right now it is Meaty, and he is in charge of this race. 7.8 seconds is that gap. That's a pretty comfortable position for this driver, without a question of a doubt. We've got Joe's here in a second position as well as he's coming around, and these two drivers seem to be on point with their strategy here today. We got Cayman in third place, and he is having a great race here as well. We got Quartz up in the fourth position. And this is one of the drivers that has been suffering from penalty trouble here at Red Bull Ring in our race this weekend. A couple of our drivers been having a little bit of issue with our track limits here and our officials, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. If we could all just race perfectly every single time, boy, could you just imagine. Rob here is chasing Cantilever, 3.2 seconds down the road right now. We've got Callan here in 7th place. He's got 3 seconds to Rob in front. We've got Rush Racing here is just less than a second in behind Callan, and has kind of been just less than a second in behind Callan for a little while now. We've got Mr. Elf in 10th position, and he's starting to see some pressure here. So Mr. Elf actually got around Cyrus here. Of course, as we were going through our field there, we missed a battle. That's unfortunate, but Cyrus looking to respond here. ER Jakey also now pulling back into this fight here as well in 11th place. So very quickly, Jakey trying to make this a three-way battle for 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th place, pardon me. But Mr. Elf, cool, calm, collected right now up in front of this group, and so far leading the charge here. It was a good long charge to try and catch up to Cyrus, and he did manage to, of course, get the move done there, and now he's got to, well, hold the charge of Cyrus off, and ERA Jakey in behind now as well. Distinct Darkrai is also closing in on these guys as well here. 2.2 seconds now is that gap between himself and that group up in front. Wertzy here in 13th position, and Racing Green just about 3 seconds in behind here right now. So with the exception of our race leader right now, every other position is easily still up for grabs. It would take a little bit of a bigger mistake here from ERM's Meaty to really give up an 8-second gap right now. So he's in a comfortable position, and quite potentially in a good position to win this race. We have just lost one of our competitors here. We've just lost Callan there. So another one of our Lexus racers here having some early race season issues with their racing car. You're gonna have to bring that thing in behind pit wall back to the paddock. So Callan gonna sit there with a 14th place finish here today, and that, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. We've seen one in each lobby here this week with mechanical failure. Well, that's racing, folks. It's just the way it goes. They'll get that car fixed, and he'll be back next racing round and at it again. So Quartz here in 4th place. We got Cantilever rolling in 5th. We're starting to get some separation here now in the pack. We got Robbie's 2.2 seconds in behind Cantilever. So slowly but surely he's starting to try and reel Cantilever in. Rush Racing has 3.8 seconds in behind Rob. Mr. Elf is 7 seconds in behind Rush Racing. So now's probably a pretty good time to start talking about some more of our drivers here in the field and their sim racing professional experience here within our Gran Turismo 7 circuit. Really the closest battle we have brewing right now is this 9th, 10th, and 11th place setup here, and potentially 12th here as Darkrai continues to close in on these guys, but there's no immediate battling here right now. Everybody's just kind of playing nice at the moment, driving single file, and it's just studying your opponent and trying to see probably where their weak points are so they can try and capitalize in that particular spot, if I had to guess. So Jakey here in 10th place. We've got Darkrai in 11th, Wurtsy in 12th, and Gracing Green here in 13th. Obviously, with the issues with Callan's race car, that moves everybody up a spot that was in behind him. But it is still Meaty leading the charge here. He's almost got the gap up to 10 seconds now at this point. Jost is 4 seconds ahead of Cayman right now. So let's talk about our third place driver a little bit. Alright, so real name is a big question mark, and that, you know what, that is A-okay. A nickname obviously is Cayman. He is Spanish, question mark. Nationality is Kraken. Team is Kraken Stains GT. Sometimes breaking into top split in the EMEA region for GTWS, and it's the debut season in PRL. So this is one of our low split World Tour drivers here in the series. Essentially is what that basically means. It doesn't mean that he's not a World Tour driver. It just means that he's on the lower split level of those World Tour drivers and has not made a World Tour event yet, but is clearly capable and fast enough to do so. The EMEA region as well is a very competitive region. It's a very tough region. It's probably arguably the one of the toughest region in all the regions available here on Gran Turismo 7 is that EMEA division, that European split over there. There is just a plethora of absolutely high tier drivers that come out of that area of the world, so it is very difficult for the European drivers to make it over each other for the GTWS events, because there are so many high profile names over in the EMEA section of this racing circuit that it is highly competitive over there. We've got Cayman here in 74th. We got Quartz in 4th place. And I mean, obviously, just based off of this year's World Tour events, I mean, Team Spain absolutely showing how strong they really are, too, as well. Absolutely mopping up in Barcelona there as well in the World Tour events, but very strong. And I mean, that's the only, 3 or 4 drivers out of that country. There is handfuls of drivers at that caliber, again, that come out just out of Spain alone. And that is just one of the several countries covered in that EMEA window. So, yeah, I mean, it's just highly competitive. Very hard to get in on the European side for sure. But here we go. We got Rob and Cantilever nose to tail here. So Rob has done the job of closing up Cantilever. Now he needs to figure out how to make it around him. But there is a half-second penalty being carried here by Cantilever right now in front of Rob. So really, patience is key here, but Rob ain't going to wait around. He's going to take it up the inside here, heading into turn number 6, and side by side battling here, turning into number 7, heading into turn number 7. And Rob does have the position grabbed here, and this is going to be an easy securing of position, as obviously Cantilever is going to now serve this half-second track limit penalty there, and Rob will slowly drive away from him there. So Rush Racing here in 7th place, Cyrus here in 8th place, and has now opened up a little bit of gap on those drivers that were chasing him down here. ERA Jakey's moved himself up into 9th place. We got Darkrai here in 10th, and we've got Mr. Alf all the way down into 11th here now. So a mistake must have been made by that driver, costing 3 positions. Racing Green here in 12th place, and Wurtsy here in 13th position. So everybody is moving and grooving and still trucking up and down this racetrack. But boy, oh boy, is this man moving a little bit faster than everybody else right now. At the 127.4 is the fastest lap on the racetrack, and he just did that a couple of laps ago as well. So also the fastest man on the racetrack. And again, no big surprise here. This guy is just on top of his game right now, and he's very hard to beat big, huge slide, though, as he enters in through turn 6 there. He manages to gather that car up, and even if he would have made a mistake there, it still would have been enough for him to hold first place. That gap just would have been a little bit smaller to teammate Joseph behind here. Cayman isn't working here, though. 4.87 seconds now, the gap, so slowly but surely dripping away at that gap in front of him here. But keeping in mind, Meaty and Joseph are both going to have to hit those hard tires at some point near the end of this race yet as well. So these guys got to keep pushing, and you just never know. You might be able to get close enough to take advantage, but chances are they're going to stop on lap 24 for that hard tire, like we've seen these late strategic pit stops in this round have gone. And in this case, Meaty may very well be able to hold down that race victory, but the gap as it stands right now may not be big enough from Cayman and Quartz in 3rd and 4th place. Rob here in 5th place. He is now tracking. He has opened up a gap here on Cantilever. He's got it up to 3 seconds here now, and now he's trying to work on catching Prima Quartz in 4th place. Cantilever's in 6th place, and he's got teammate Rush Racing right in behind here in 7th place and closing in. So Cantilever may be struggling a little bit here in the latter part of this stint. We got Tyrannosaurus Rex here in 8th place. Hey, I got it right. I have such a hard time saying that name. It's a tongue twister. Here at 8th place and looking good, and again, absolutely amazing content creator as well. So love seeing him on track. We've got ERA Jakey here in 9th place. Distinct Darkrai here in 10th position as well. We've got Mr. Elf in 11th position. We've got Racing Green here in 12th, and we got Wurtsy in 13th position. So some separation. I'm a little surprised to see such heavy separation in the division here today. I figured we'd see a much larger nose-to-tail group for the most part in this race, but you know, first race of the season, everybody's still sorting out their strategies and sorting out the cars and figuring out the pace of the lobby as well, right? So this is a little bit of an educational purpose race for this division. Now that they've kind of put it out online and they've seen what each other are doing around here in this car, you know, now they're going to get to work. And I think we're going to see some extremely close, tight, large pack racing here before the end of this season as well. So you're always kind of assessing your opponents in your first couple rounds of a new championship. Obviously, we know a little bit about some of the races that we're racing against, but we might not know a lot about some of the races that we're racing against. So there's always that little bit of a unknown factor coming into a new series for the first, round or 2 rounds. Obviously, this group of drivers is fairly used to racing against each other and around each other in competition, but league racing is a little bit of a different thing. This may not quite have the weight and the pressure on it as what these guys are used to as well, right? So Joe's here in 2nd place. We got Cayman here in 3rd position. Prima, of course, is right there. I mean, he's just strategically figuring out when, I think, to attack Cayman here at this point. He's just been chilling that same distance and behind him here for a few laps now, and Rob here has 4.5 laps left and an 8.2 second gap to close. Now he has eaten a second out of that gap since the last time we checked on it, but I think he's going to be a little short on laps. We'll have to wait and find out. We got Rush Racing and Cantilever. This is nose to tail here between the 2 SV drivers here right now, and they're going to continue on up the road here in 6th and 7th place, and I don't suspect we'll see too much battling between these 2 drivers, maybe probably right till the end of the race, as they won't want to cost each other a potential incident this late in the race. We got Cyrus here in 8th place. He's got a pretty good gap right now on Darkrai in 9th place there, which is 2 seconds. So Darkrai has found his way around ERA's Jakey here and has kind of tried to start to pull away. It's only 0.4 of a second, so Jakey's definitely most certainly still in that slipstream range of this driver here right now, but he is battling, and this is lots of little mini battles happening throughout the field here. Mr. Elf in 11th, we got Racing Green here in 12th, and Wurtsy in 13th, and of course Callan with a mechanical issue in his racing car here today, bowing out early there about lap 10 of the racetrack here today. So we had one driver from each division today have an issue with their Lexus racing car today and had to bring it in early. But like I said, these crews are top level crews. They'll have those cars fixed up and in full operating condition for the next round of racing again for these drivers. All right, so this is a good little we can call this a battle. This is a calculated battle right now between Quartz and Cayman. Quartz is just sitting in behind Cayman. Obviously, both very equally paced drivers, so pace isn't necessarily the issue. It's when to attack. Right now, I think, is what's probably going through Quartz's mind. We still got 3 laps to go on the racetrack here. Obviously, I've got the pace to keep up with them, so where do I try to make the move is probably what's going through our 4th place driver's mind right now. He's been sitting behind Cayman here for quite a few laps now. He's definitely been able to see strengths and weaknesses in this driver's driving, and it's going to be up to inside heading into Remus. Here is when Quartz is going to get the job done. Now the question is, was it too early? With 3 laps to go, did he make that move too early? So Cayman now tucks back in behind, and will we see a response from our 4th place driver before this race is over? However, just off in the distance here is Rob, and he has peeled that down to 6.5 seconds now on Quartz and Cayman in 3rd and 4th place. It was 8, so maybe not out of time yet. Don't know. We'll have to wait to find out. Mr. L for the half-second track limit penalty. That's not going to help the charge up to ERA's Jakey there. We've got Racing Green here in 12th place, and again, Wurtsy in 13th position here, and we know Wurtsy's a very quick driver as well, so just a fast field of drivers. Insane. And on lap 24 of 25 here, our race leader is on a purple sector as we head through Remus there. And he's got a 14-second gap here on the field. Oh, no, we lost Wurtsy. Ugh, right at the end of the race, lost another driver here. We lost Wurtsy there on lap 24, and his car now heading towards the paddock there as well. So, oof, hate to see that. Late race malfunction there for that driver, and gonna stay where he disconnected. Our 13th place finish here for him today, but I hate to see it now. There's 2 drivers here having some issues with their race cars here in this race today, and those are crews that are going to be hard at work in the off week. All right, so Cayman has done a good job at not losing Quartz, but Quartz has done a good job at just opening up enough of a gap here over the driver to not allow him to get close enough to try and attempt a move back. So we're going to see pit stops coming from Meaty and Jose. They're going to be jumping on that hard racing tire, as I suspect it's going to be a last lap ditch effort. And oh, there we go, the top 4 drivers all owing that hard tire here. Okay, I did not realize that. So Rob Heck here is coming around, Reint and Red Bull Mobile, and potentially going to find himself on the podium here as he comes around. When we got Meaty coming out here, he just came out of pit lane, so he is on the road here again. Rob's just coming around Nicky Lauder curve. The gap is 5.4 seconds. Rob's on the softs, Meaty's on the hards. Can Rob close the gap in less than a lap? It's a big ask, I think. Rush Racing is going to find himself in 3rd place with ERM's Jose in 4th. Cyrus moves up into 5th. We got Darkrai in 6th. We got Quartz coming out in 7th. Cayman comes out in 8th. Jakey is settled in 9th place here. Mr. Elf is in 10th position. We got Racing Green here in 11th. And Cantilever is just coming out of pit lane here, making his final pit stop of the race as well. So early pit stop versus late pit stop strategy was the question here. And in the first 2 divisions, it was the early pit stop strategies that seemed to pay more dividend than the late pit strategies. But in our Division 1 lobby, Meaty is going to pull off a textbook reverse strategy here and bring home a race victory here in round 1, season 2 of our Group 3 Championship Series. Congratulations to ERM's Meaty. We're not quite done yet, so we're not going to quite give him the full credit here. You still got to get this final corner, but you know. All right, so it is a first place race win there for ERM's Media. Robbie with a great drive there. He's going to bring it back into second place, and SV's Rush Racing is going to round out our podium here in Division 1, Round 1. ERM's Jose is going to fall just a little bit short here with a great race that is under his belt today in fourth place. Tyranno Cyrus Rex is going to take it home in fifth. Distinct Darkrise in sixth place. Cayman 74, ERA's Jakey, and Prima Quartz all fighting it out there. Seventh, eighth, and ninth position right there as they all come across the line basically side by side. Mr. Elf in 10th position. We've got Racing Green here in 11th, and it is Cantilever to round out the field in 12th position. Oh, wow. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Two of our drivers unable to finish the race under their own power, retired a little early and unfortunate, but it is pole position, clean race bonus, and the race victory here from Amidi Hafidi, our current 2024 World Champion here, Manufacturers Champion in Gran Turismo 7. So that was a great job by our race winner. So it is Meaty, and he does have the fastest lap on the track as well. So clean sweep here for our world champion. Rob Heck in second position. It's going to be Rush Racing in third place. It's going to be ERM's Joseph in fourth. Cyrus in fifth place. Distinct Darkrai in sixth. We've got KRK's Cayman in seventh. ERA Jakey in eighth place. It's going to be Prima Quartz in ninth. It's going to be Mr. Elf in 10th. It's going to be Racing Green in 11th position. Cantilever in 12th. The Wurtsy will get a 13th place finish, and Callan a 14th place finish. And of course, this is all unofficial as it stands until officiating, stewarding, and all that great stuff behind the scenes happens here from our amazing volunteer staff and behind the scenes of PRL. Whew. All right, that was some crazy racing right there. We're gonna catch up with chat, and we're gonna catch up on a lot of stuff that we missed throughout the broadcast, just because we didn't really want to miss a stitch of the action there. Incredible racing here by all the drivers, and there we go. And boy, we're in for a season. So the way this works here, Pure Racing League, for our fans and our viewers now, you got a taste of what's up on the big screen here every Sunday for everybody. What is going to happen here now moving forward? So we have what's called the Master Series starting next Sunday here from Pure Racing League. It's going to be a Nations Cup style series championship event. We're going to see various different cars, track combinations here for next weekend's race, and it's going to be just a one division. So I'm not sure. I got to go verify what time that we'll be starting that race at here. So just bear with me here to get into my notes. So it would be 6 p.m. Eastern Time next Sunday here from Pure Racing League, ladies and gentlemen, and that will be our inaugural season for the Master Series here from Pure Racing League. So, like I said, that is going to be a crazy fun series. We're getting very Nation Cup style with that series. You're going to see a lot of road cars, and you're going to see a lot of cars you just don't see on the big screen in a league setting. It is going to be a blast, and the lineup in the Master Series is, no less competitive than the lineup in Division 1 that we just saw a few minutes ago happen in front of us. So just a little bit of an idea what we're going to see next weekend from Pure Racing League, and then we get back into our Group 3 championship. So it's going to be every other Sunday for our Group 3 Series championship with our 3 divisions of drivers here, and then every other weekend in between our Group 3 championship, of course, will be our Master Series here from Pure Racing League. And boy, both championships are going to be crazy fun to sit back and watch, without a question of a doubt. GG's to all 40 drivers that made it here tonight. We have literally a full list of drivers plus substitute drivers. I think we've got about 52 or 53 strong driver pool here this season. and still growing, obviously. Always open for registration. If you're interested, jump into the PRL Discord and come take a look around, come see what's going on here. Again, it's very early in the season, and I believe that we are still going to be accepting drivers on a substitute basis, of course, and then potentially maybe a full-time spot may open for some of the subs. But even as a substitute driver, you're guaranteed pretty much to make a large majority of the races, because there always seems to be one of the racers that has real life come up, or plans, or something going on during a race week, and subs usually find their way into racing as well. So if you're interested in joining, you want to test your mettle against some of the best in North America and the sim racing Gran Turismo 7 circuit, Pure Racing League is where you want to be, ladies and gentlemen. You want to advance, you want to grow, you want to find pace, you want to learn how to be a faster, cleaner racer. Pure Racing League is where you want to be, ladies and gentlemen, plain and simple. The skill levels range from the top of the business right down to the brand new sim racer, and everybody in between is there to help, teach, and do whatever we got to do to make sure that you all have a fun, enjoyable experience. League racing is where it's at. And when you have such great, close-paced divisions like Pure Racing League has put together this season, it's impossible not to have fun. Plain and simple. Absolutely great racing. What can we say? Cheers to our celebrities, to our Gran Turismo 7 finest. Absolute great racing tonight. Appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedules to come here and just hang out with the sim racing community. That in itself is top level, and much respect for myself for that. We know how it is in real life, right, ladies and gentlemen, right, chat? We know how it is. People get into that celebrity status, so to speak, quote unquote, air quotes going up here as I say that. You're riding the dream. You're chasing it. You're having fun. You're enjoying the experience. But what happens a lot of the times is the communities behind those people get not necessarily forgotten, but brushed aside. So that's not what we're seeing here. We're seeing celebrity status drivers on Gran Turismo 7 coming out to play with the community, coming out to race with the community, coming out to put on a show for the community, coming out to help the community continue to gain more experience and become faster themselves. And you know what? They're competitors. They want the competition on track. They want to be racing against the best of the best all the time. And that's what Pure Racing League is doing right now, right here, giving everybody an opportunity to really truly reach their potential as a sim racer. So thank you to Pure Racing League for the opportunity and for hanging out with the sim racing community. It really is top level. It may not seem like much, but I assure you, to the general sim racing community, what you guys are doing here has a huge amount of weight, and a ton of respect comes in with that as well from the general sim racing community. So cheers to our North American World Tour drivers. Cheers to our world champions that were on track here tonight, and cheers to all our racers that are just coming out and trying to put on a show for the fans, because it was a great night of racing, right from Division 3 through to Division 2, right off to the big finale with Division 1. Just a great, absolute Sunday afternoon of racing. It doesn't get any better than that, unless, like I said, you're sitting at a real racetrack watching a real life race. It doesn't get any better than that. This is the place to be. Pure Racing League, Sundays. All right, so next week, 6 p.m. Eastern Time will be our start time. I will be live 15 minutes ahead of that, of course, to set everything up and break it all down for our amazing viewers out there watching from home. Do us a favor, too, if you haven't done so already, please like and share the streams out. It helps us grow. It's something free to do that you can help the growth of the pages out as well. If you enjoy the racing, you want to see more Pure Racing League, you want to see more sim racing content, go ahead and hit that follow or that subscription button, depending on your choice of platform that you like to view from. Turn on those live notifications. You'll never miss another moment of the racing action. All commentary provided by GT45 Gaming is family-friendly content, and that is because real motorsport racing is a family venue. So sim racing should not be any different, in my opinion. It should be a family event as well. I appreciate everybody. Again, I'm the host for the evening, GT45 Gaming, bringing all of the racing action to you the best I can to your big screens. Huge thank you to the administration staff behind the scenes at Pure Racing League, our officiating staff, of course, our race officials here handling things while our races are going on. 3 races in one day on one racetrack. Huge shout out to the volunteers behind the scenes, keeping that track safe, sound, and in optimal racing condition for our drivers. Austria, Red Bull Ring, thank you for your hospitality. Pure Racing League, thank you for the host and putting on such a great series. And to all the viewers that had popped out today, and there was a lot of you. Thank you so much for the likes, the shares, the comments, chatting amongst each other, hanging out, and I really hope that you all enjoyed the content. Tell your friends, tell your family members, tell your coworkers. Sunday afternoons at Pure Racing League is where the best entertainment on the weekend is at, and I can't wait to see everybody there. Whew. Great racing by our group here this weekend from Pure Racing League, and absolutely ecstatic to finally officially get this season underway. So, on behalf of Pure Racing League, GT45 Gaming, and everybody involved behind it, thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your support. Remember, you all matter. Stay winning, and we will most certainly catch you all on the next one.